Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah. Not at the budget workshop, apparently. All right. Call this meeting to order. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilmember Coburn. Here. Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Castro.
Show us great and mighty things that we do not know. We also know your word tells us that in all things you desire that we prosper and be in health, even as our souls prosper, and that you are the Lord that gives us the knowledge and the wisdom and the ability to get wealth. So, Father, I thank you for giving those that are gathered here today insight, wisdom, Lord God, supernatural revelation from you as to how to put together a budget, Lord, that will bring success to the beach. Lord God, that every need would be taken care of and fully funded, Lord, and show them how to do it, Lord God, supernaturally, not just by the wisdom of men, but by your wisdom. And I thank you today for your blessing on these council members, the city staff, Lord, everyone that's gathered here. I thank you, Lord God, for blessing them, blessing their families, causing them to succeed, Lord. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join Councilmember Coburn for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we begin these series of public hearings, or this public hearing for our budget, Mr. Whitman, you had something to say?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to thank Deborah, Joey, and Holly for bringing us a balanced budget, and especially the department heads and their team for working together. And hopefully you guys had a chance to look over the budget and we can approve a tight budget for this coming year.
Okay.
And I'd like to also introduce our new communication manager, Erin, if she could come up for a
Yeah,
second. and
Erin,
introduce
if you can
herself.
come up.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
morning.
My name is Erin Thrower, and I'm your new Communications and Public Information Manager, and I'm just so thrilled to make Panama City Beach my new home. This is a first-class team here, and I'm just really excited to join them and to be working for you all and for our community. So I'm just looking forward to learning more. I've seen you on TV, so it's great to see you all face-to-face here. So have a good meeting. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, ma'am.
welcome.
Okay, we now move on to the budget workshop. First item is the general fund. We will accept public comment for this discussion item at this time. Any public comment? No? Okay. You want to start the presentation?
Yes, sir. Before I begin, I just want to thank you for allowing us to present this budget to you this year. And also I want to thank Joey, the department heads, Drew, Holly, and everyone who has just dove in to help prepare this, give us a wonderful, balanced budget to present to you. Before we get started, there are a couple key highlights that you'll see throughout this budget that I wanted to kind of, or I did want to make you aware of, because we won't bring these up again throughout the budget. One is we have a 3% cost of living adjustment that is built into the budget. We have a 25% increase in insurance premiums that is also built into the budget. And then also this year you'll see that there are no new personnel requests except for the departments that have the revenue sources to fund those personnel requests. And as we go through this budget, we will Drew, at some point when we get through to the sections that have a contribution or a motion that he needs for you to make, he will request it from you, and it just so that he doesn't have to come back throughout the year and bring it back to you during the year. Okay.
Well, thank you, Ms. Gibson. You know, there's been a focus on government efficiency at the state and federal levels. So we run a tight ship here already. But it makes sense to pull back this year and focus on essential services. And I know was really difficult for all the department heads and especially finance to make this all work. We really appreciate your hard work on this.
Okay, so to begin with, this is just our agenda for the day, the departments that we'll be going through. But we will start with our general fund department. Our general fund has 11 departments within that department. And also, I want to begin by going over our general fund revenues. that are budgeted for 2026 at just under 59 million, which is about a 3% increase over the current amended 2025 budget. And you'll see on the revenue side, the business tax receipts continue to be our primary source, and they make up 34% of the total revenue fund. And utility taxes and the intergovernmental revenues follow at 10 and 11%. The license, permits, assessments account for about 15%, and the remaining of the revenue sources are just come in just up under 10%. So when you look at where the money goes, the personnel makes up the largest portion of the general fund at 45%, followed by the operational cost at 26%, and capital outlay at 29%. And for fiscal year 2026, the proposed general expenditures by department is right up under 72 million, and the expenditure increase is approximately 15.6% over the amended 25 budget, but much of this is tied into capital projects. And if you look at how the budget is distributed across the departments within the general fund, you'll see that the public safety still remains our largest investment, with 32% department within the general fund. So the first one of our 11 is the legislative department. The proposed fiscal year 26 budget is $478,500, and the expenditures show a modest 1% increase over the current year amended, with 55% in personnel and 45% in operating.
Okay.
Any questions on legislative? This department is the mayor and the council members.
Are there any substantial increases this year?
Sir?
Any substantial increases this year in the budget?
Oh, no, sir.
We got 4.7.
No, sir.
Yeah, health insurance.
Health insurance.
With the health insurance.
Health insurance is hitting us everywhere.
Going to be across the
Yes.
board, that 25% increase in health insurance, yeah.
And you'll see
Hitting
that
us,
throughout every department.
Yeah, hitting us, hitting the residents as well. Okay.
Okay, moving on to the executive department. Their budget is just over 1 million, with the majority at 78% is personnel related, 22% is operational. And there's also a small capital item budgeted for the upgrade of the exterior lightings on the city hall. And this department consists of the city manager, assistant city manager, the city clerk, and the administrative assistant. And also within the EDA, also within the executive budget is an EDA request for $29,763. And Drew, I'm going to pass this to you.
Yeah, our travel is in here, this would be myself as the city manager and Lynn as the city clerk. Under our rules that council has to approve our travel, so at this time I'd ask you guys if you could approve our travel, so I don't have to bring it back throughout the year. The travel for Lynn is the Florida League of Cities, and myself is Florida League of Cities, 2 trips to DC and 1 trip to Tallahassee.
Okay, yep, that's essential travel. Need a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, also on this, on the executive group, we also have Bay EDA on ours. I'd like to have you guys make a motion on that, so when the invoice comes in for them, for their $29,323, we can pay it when we receive the invoice. I don't have to bring that back to council as well.
Okay, yeah, and we're going to have a number of motions for these invoice requests during this meeting.
Yes, sir.
And the increase for Bay EDA is simply based on population. There was no rate increase. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Any discussion or motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, that was for the Bay EDA invoice.
So now we'll move on to the administration department. And the admin department has 3 divisions. There's finance, communications, human resources, and facility maintenance. And the proposed fiscal budget for the entire admin department is about 3.4 million, with finance having the largest portion at 51, finance and communications having the largest portion at 51%, facility maintenance at 31%, and human resources at 18%. To begin with, the finance and communication budget is just over 1.7 million, with allocations to personnel expenses at 71%, 23% to operational costs, and 6% to capital expenditures. And the capital expenditures that are requested in this budget for the facility, for the finance and communication are shared with the utility budget, and includes a generator, enhancements to the parking lot, and new windows, and these are all to the new water building annex.
Okay, and did we get this? Yeah, okay, we got all the slides on there. Yeah, so that water billing annex is also used by finance, so finance department is bearing part of the burden on those capital outlays.
Yeah.
Just finishing up the parking lot and some windows and a generator for backup.
That's correct.
All right.
Any questions, any further comments on finance, communications?
Good?
I'm good.
Okay, so the second department within the admin, or second division in the admin department is the Human Resources Department. Their requested budget is just over $1 million, and of that, 73% is allocated personnel, and 26% is to operations, and just a small 1% is for capital outlay.
And so again, we have no new positions, which is going to be straight across the board for general fund, unless there's other funding. Okay, not a substantial capital outlay. Okay, all right, questions? Discussion? No? Good? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the facility division. Their proposed budget is $605,400. And of that, 51% is dedicated to personnel, 13% for operating expenditures, and 36% is allocated to capital outlay. The facility division, whose share is 11%, shares the $2 million Forenzo parking lot improvement project with several other departments, and you will see this split as we proceed throughout the other departments. You'll see the other departments picking up a share of the Forenzo parking lot improvement.
Okay, so can we touch on that project here?
Yes, sir. That's the parking lot just be set behind it. You guys allowed the city to purchase that property for $2 million. This project will demo the building and build a new parking lot over there with lighting and secured access to secure our vehicles. The project will be $2 million total to complete the project.
Okay, yeah, and that parking lot is essential because we have really tight parking here. We want to make sure when we have very popular meetings such as this one, all of the public can attend, rather than trying to find parking everywhere up and down the street. Okay.
Okay, moving right along. Our legal department's proposed budget this year is $595,000, and this actually represents a 7.6% decrease over the original 2025 budget. Even though this does reflect a decrease, cost management.
Holly made me do it.
Twisted your arm, did she?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
Your overhead is less.
yeah, we're keeping a tight budget this year, and everyone's contributed. Okay, thank you, sir.
Appreciate that.
Okay, next we have the planning department, and their proposed budget is approximately $547,000, just a little over that. And 70% of this is allocated to personnel and 30% to operating expenses. They have no new personnel requests, no capital outlay requests.
Okay,
Good.
thank you, Mel. Appreciate you keeping it tight over there.
Mel is consistent.
Good
All right.
experience in that role.
Okay, the law enforcement or police department proposed budget this year is approximately $22.7 million, and 55% of this is allocated to personnel, 24% to operating expenses, and 21% is to capital outlay. This department has requested no new positions, and the equipment requested includes a replacement prison transport van, as well as the patrol vehicles to maintain their fleet reliability. Additional enhancements include upgrades to the body cam technology and records management software, implementation of flock camera systems, the Fusus, hope I'm saying that correctly,
Yep.
and the Gray Key data extraction software, and the police department also shares in the Fuel Master improvement update.
Okay, can we talk through that Fuel Master update, because that's going to hit a few departments as well.
Okay, so you can tell about it with this.
So the Fuel Master is the program that runs the gas pumps out here at City Hall, and we also have pumps down at the wastewater station. And the software basically tracks all the gasoline usage for every vehicle citywide, which then creates the reports that finance uses to make sure that everybody pays their share of the gas that's being used.
Yeah, so it's an accounting and cost efficiency improvement, so that if gas is going to the street department or the police department, we make sure it goes to their budget.
Correct.
Okay. For this department, Chief, if you would come up and talk through some of these additional requests.
Morning. What can I answer
Chief.
for you?
Good morning.
Morning. Would you like me to just go down the line, or we
Yeah,
just?
let's just go down the line, especially on the major items.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the body camera. Our previous body camera contract is set to expire as a 5-year contract with our vendor GTAC. The price has gone up since the last 5 years that we entered into that contract. The price of the software has increased. We're hoping to stay with the same company, depending on price point. Obviously, our current vendor is GTAC. It is for the actual device itself, as well as the cloud storage of all of the body cam footage. I mean, this is just an essential part of law enforcement operations in today's world. We're discussing a new records management system. Currently, data is our biggest commodity at the police department currently in 2025, and we need a records management system to help us analyze, forecast, and document any public safety concerns in the city. Our current RMS vendor we've been with for several decades, and we're looking to leverage more modern technology with potential new vendor when it comes to RMS, something more cloud-based, something more user-friendly, something that our officers can tag in with their cell phone and be able to be more proficient and streamline the law enforcement contacts that they have out there when it comes to documenting the circumstances. So we're asking for consideration on that.
Yeah, and that's part of your continued initiative to do smarter and more effective policing in PCB.
That's correct. With the amount of data that we collect, having the right software to help us analyze that and focus on an intelligence-led policing model is absolutely essential in today's world. The implementation of it, obviously, there has to be some data turnover. There has to be some, our historical information has to be brought over to this new system. There has to be training involved with that. So that's going to account for at least half of the cost. Half of it is actually software, half of it is actually the implementation of it, which can take over several months. The Gray Key data extraction, with cell phones advancing every couple of months, the evidence collection from those cell phones gets more and more complex. So this specific software helps us to break, obviously with court order compliance, password protection on cell phones that we receive from criminals in order to collect evidence. So if we're looking to get into a cell phone and a bad guy has it locked, this software helps us get into that phone and retrieve that evidence in a time-efficient manner.
Yeah, and of course with court compliance.
Of course, obviously, anything we do is in accordance with state law.
Absolutely.
For 4 additional flock cameras, these Flock cameras will go in addition to our current set. I believe we have 35, 36 cameras out right now. We have some what I call dark spots on our tourist corridor that we would like to plug these cameras in to have a better full, I guess, umbrella over the city to understand, at least to help us in our crime prevention mission. So this would just enhance our current license plate reader program that we have out right now.
Yep.
Fusus, we have been using grant funding for our Fusus platform. For just so to remind you guys, we have a partnership with the Sheriff's Office and a couple of our municipalities to pull our grant funding together to operate a real-time crime center that's operated out of the Sheriff's Office. The hub is there, but we all have access to it. Basically allows us to look at cameras, both in real time and historical, to collect evidence. Historically, that grant funding covered all of it, but the price has gone up just like everything else. So each agency is going to pitch in an additional couple $1,000s to help offset. The Sheriff's Office is going to pick up the majority of that, the increase, which I think it was like $50,000. So our contribution to that will be $6,000 to contribute on top of our grant funding to keep that specific operation going.
Yeah, and this is part of our continued collaboration for safety in all of Bay County.
That's correct. This is our unified law enforcement approach that we have, in this area that we need to be able to keep and maintain, which is shown to be successful. We're requesting a new transport van. Our current transport prisoner van, let me say that, is going on about 20 years old. It has seen many miles and it has it's done its job, but it's time to upgrade that to something more efficient, a little bit more safer, and obviously with less miles, this van is routinely having to go in for maintenance for mechanical difficulties. Even though the miles aren't essentially that high, the actual wear and tear, if it's just being out here for 20 years, has taken its toll.
Yeah, you guys have really stretched that one, so.
Yep.
I'd say we got our money's worth out of that.
Yeah.
We sure did. We sure did. We're requesting a replacement of 10 vehicles. This is going into an average rotation of our fleet vehicles, where every year we're having to reorganize, recategorize the fleet rotation just because of the delay that we saw post-COVID from getting our vehicles. So we might get a 21 vehicle and we might have, it came into service in actually 23. So we're looking at actually the years on the road in replacement instead of the year of the vehicle, so we could get more bang for our buck. So we're requesting 10 vehicles to be replaced, and the mobile command center, which it will be a unified command center with the Sheriff's Office and Police Department to help us enhance our presence in these large-scale events, special events. This was state appropriated funding that was going to cover some of this cost. The remaining cost is just going to be to cover whatever the total cost would be. So I believe the state appropriating funded is going to cover 50% or 70%. I'm not exactly.
$500,000.
Roughly $500,000.
Yeah, and we really appreciate our partners in the state legislature, Representative Griffiths and Senator Trumbull, for helping to push this through.
Yeah, that was a huge win for the city.
Yeah, they are great partners for us up there.
And I think that covers it.
Okay, any questions? No. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Ms. Gibson?
So we will move forward with fire.
Okay.
Okay, the fire department is divided into two divisions, fire rescue along with beach safety, and their combined budget this year is $14.4 million. So when you start with fire rescue, their proposed budget is just over $12 million. And 66% is personnel, 25% is operating expenses, and 9% is for capital outlay. There are no new positions requested, and the operating cost increase is due to the addition of the new fire stations coming online, which expands our response capacity across the city. And also, the key capital items include the $600,000 mobile command center, which is shared with the police department and supported by grant funding along with impact fees, a new truck for the training division, and a replacement response vehicle. And Fire Rescue also shares in the Forenzo parking lot improvement as well as the Fuel Master upgrade.
Okay. Chief Morgan, if you could come up and talk about a few of these things. We already discussed a little bit of the mobile command center, but we have the training truck and chief vehicles and the new fire stations. Which
Yes,
I think
sir.
we're all
Mayor,
very
council.
excited about.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to report that our budget is a little more tight than it has been in the past couple of years now that our capital projects are starting to wrap up. So to echo Chief Tao with the Mobile Command Center, that's a joint project that we started in on a little over a year ago. It's a need that we recognize in the city as we are growing with a number of special events and then weather-related events that we work together, that we needed something more centralized and mobile that would help us in command and control of these events, and also a place for, to have meetings off-site with our people and a refuge, and it'd be just a great asset. So kudos to our state legislators and you guys for helping push to get that funding to push this project through. Thank you. The training division truck, so we're happy to report we have put that position out. We're holding interviews for that position next Thursday. So we had 17 applicants. We're down to 7 now that are qualified, and we're excited and hope to fill that position. This truck will support that division along with many others. So we're requesting a 2,500, and that is to help facilitate, we have more trailers, more heavy equipment in the city that we're using, whether it be deployments, special events, training trailers. So this truck will be used all across the city. And then the chief's vehicle there, so we had in a 5-year, we're looking to replace. We put all of our vehicles on a 5-year rotation and a 5-year for online, 7 years for admin. And we try to hold as the budget will allow, so we trimmed that from 3 vehicles down to 1 vehicle as a replacement there.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to get around, and thanks for keeping them on as long as you can.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for fire. He's going to be back up for beach here in a second, right? Yep. Any questions while he's up here for fire? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chief.
Sir, can I just give you an update on the firehouses?
I would love an update on the firehouses.
With the hard work of the staff and especially our legal team, we were having some issues with the construction. We stopped paying the company a while back, and then we just threatened them legally with their bond. And we should have our CO yesterday or today for Fire Station 31 and Fire Station 32. We should have our CO hopefully by the end of the month, 1st of September. So I wanted to thank the legal team for getting on that for our team.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Also holding those contractors accountable to what they've committed to. Your staff has done a great job of making sure contractors stay accountable and pushing these projects over the line. Okay. Great, thank you. Move on to beach.
Absolutely. Beach safety is the second division up under the fire department. Their proposed budget is approximately $2.27 million. 74% is allocated to personnel, 23% to operating expenses, and 3% to capital outlay. While there are no use positions requested this year, their capital budget includes equipment upgrades to their radio replacements and ATV replacement. And also, they share in the Fuel Master upgrade that's shared with the other departments.
Okay, Chief, I know you only have a few items on this one. Maybe talk, if you'd be willing to talk about the moving into a new building?
Yes, sir.
Old new building? New old
Yeah,
building?
so we're happy to report that with the oncoming of Station 32, as the city manager stated, the new station will be able to move our beach safety division out from under the pier and actually put them in an actual facility. So you will have some increase with signage and just some updates that need to be done there, but it will be minimal. So you'll see the radios. It's a harsh environment out there on the beach, and to keep up communications are key to the success of our operation and keeping our people safe. So that puts us back to where we need to be with the addition of, as we grow the department. Also the ATV, again, it's just attrition through use. So that salt and sand environment is tough. We have one ATV pretty much every year through the 5-year plan, and that keeps us operationally ready. And then the shared cost again in the fuel.
Yeah, I know those radios come at a pretty expensive cost per radio, but they're essential equipment.
They run about 5,000 a radio, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, questions?
Yes, Chief, I'm sure the folks out there are wondering why we're not hiring more folks.
Yeah.
Lifeguards, but we do currently have positions we haven't been able to fill that we have budgeted salaries for, is that correct?
That's correct. So right now, we set at 12 positions. So we're down 8 positions. We're expecting to onboard 3 new within the coming month, which will take us down to 5 positions. So it's not for a lack of recruitment and public notice, as you guys have seen a director on the TV and on the news spots repeatedly. It's very competitive. So,
Yeah.
And those are year-round positions?
correct, full-time.
Yeah, it's just a difficult segment of the market to find hires for at this point, right?
And they've really done great this year, even being down with the positions they've had. They've really stepped up.
They
And
most
I'm
certainly
very
have.
proud of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very good. Further discussion? Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, so our next our department is our building department. Their proposed budget is just over $3 million. 59% is for personnel, 31% for operating, and 10% is for capital outlay. This year's budget does include 3 new positions, a permit technician, a building inspector, and the deputy building official. All of these positions are supported by the department's dedicated revenue source. The capital projects include 2 equipped trucks for the new staff, and they also share in the Forenzo parking lot upgrade, as well as the fuel master upgrade.
Okay. Mel, did you want to speak to this? Yeah. So we have these new positions coming in, and they're funded with revenue. Is that right?
They're funded through the building permits.
Yes, that's revenue that's earmarked for the building division activities, and it's actually regulated by the Florida statutes where the money coming in for permit fees for the building division actually go towards the running of that division itself and need to be spent on it. And actually, the Florida statutes go a little bit further and say that you look at a 4-year running average of your costs, and you can only carry so much of a percentage over that. And once you get over that, you need to start finding ways to spend it, reduce fees, do other things like that. So it's money that's earmarked, and that's all building divisions in the state of Florida have to be operated that way. And yes, we usually don't ask for additional personnel, but we do have, like for the permit technician, we used to have 2.5 people. We had a part-time person years ago, so we had 2.5 people working the front desk continuously. And then when the economy slowed down and hurricanes happened, we didn't fill that position when it opened up, and we've been just thin at the front desk, but we've had 2 very good people operating it, and they've been very efficient in being able to deal with that. And so there's an opportunity for that position to come back so that we would have 3 people at the front desk who could help out. Then and adding an additional building inspector would give us the opportunity to be a little less reliant on our third party that we use. It's completely paid for by the applicant for a building permit, but it would give us another in-house person instead of having just 1 building inspector, having the 2, that we could have less reliance on the third party. And then for the deputy building code administrator, it would give us somebody for the first time ever, a second in command in the building division, that when the building code administrator is doing other duties, there's a way you have someone else who could actually run the division, make some decisions, and then I would work with that person in moving things forward instead of things having to wait sometimes for it.
Yeah, and so it's really, these positions are focused on continuing to provide a high level of service and also making sure that our building department is keeping the beach as safe as possible for their domain, right?
Yes, sir, exactly.
Okay. And then there's just some equipment to support those new positions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
About what do we spend right now on third party?
It fluctuates from year to year. Of course, the busier we are, the more it goes up, but it's been running about 90,000, 100,000. It's about it runs anywhere from about $40,000 to $80,000 cheaper than the previous third party that we used. So it's been a much better deal going forward the last, 4 years that we've used them. And they've been a big help because they also kind of backfill us when we're busy and can take care of things and people don't have to wait on it, and also helps with our insurance scores that we get when we get reviewed. But that's what it's been about running.
Okay.
How does that address the insurance scores?
Well, two different things. We get a community rating system score that about every 5 years we have to go through and update on that, and that will help out anybody who's in a floodplain, help with a reduction in their insurance rates. And right now, people in Panama City Beach would get a 25% discount. The worse your score is, the less of a discount it is. And then there's also the building code effectiveness grading schedule, which is also done about the same schedule, where it looks at the operation of the building division. And if you have inspectors who are doing more inspections than what their ratios are, if a person's taking on too many inspections, you'll get dinged for that. If your staff is too small for the amount of inspections you're having to do, your scores will be worse for that. And that will affect your insurance for anybody, even if you're not in a floodplain.
Yeah, so this is one of the many ways we work very hard to keep the cost of living as low as possible out here on the beach, keeping that flood insurance low and keeping general insurance low by running an efficient and safe department.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Great.
Question?
Oh, sorry.
I believe the spay-neuter program is under your department.
Yes, it is, but it's really operated out of finance. They've been doing the actual day-to-day operations for it.
Okay, so we'll be able to review that program. We're not arbitrarily just approving that for the next year.
So we actually reduced the fee. So if you guys recall, you had a $40,000 allotted to that last year, which was, I think, $50 a voucher. It was about 800 vouchers. What we did this year is finance looked at how many of those vouchers were actually being used, as opposed to just arbitrarily throwing another 40 grand in the budget. We looked at actual use. I believe it was about $15,000, and which was within Drew's spending authority, and we put that back in the budget to continue the program. What we hope to do over the next year or so is monitor, which we are doing, we just don't have enough data yet, monitor our third-party expenses with Bay County Animal Control for cats in particular, in terms of how often they're picking up housing, euthanasia. And we hope that the spay-neuter program will end up with a reduction in the number of cats and the number of costs that we're spending with Bay County for animal control. So we put it back in, it's significantly reduced over what it was in the current year.
Councilmember, if you want to talk about that program now, I don't think Mr. Leonard needs to stay up.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
We can talk about that program now. It's just I didn't want poor Mel sitting up there waiting for us.
Oh, I don't, he loves the spotlight. No, I just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to reevaluate it before we commit that money.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So we're going to talk, when did you want to talk about that program?
We marked $20,000 for that program. Is that what you guys want to keep it? Last year was $40,000, like Holly says. We put it down to $20,000 this year. We can track the third party as well to see if it's cost effective.
Okay, it's a pilot program. You know, heard this thing, Milton Friedman said there's nothing so permanent as a temporary government program, but we're trying to be cost efficient on it. So you looked at actual use of that program, and we spent about 15?
Yeah, we spent about 15. We've had quite a bit of outreach from other communities in the county as well that are kind of trying to follow what we're doing, modeling what we're doing. The county's kind of done some things with their cat spay and neuter. I think Lynn Haven has reached out recently to see about our program. So it's gotten some traction countywide.
Councilmember, did you want to have further discussion?
No, that's good. I just want to get a year-end review of how many vouchers were picked up, how many were actually used.
So we spent 15, what's a spay or neuter, $50?
So $50 is the cost is what we pay for the voucher, which covers Spay Bay. We did have another vet come on board this year. We're going to reach out to some additional vets that are willing to participate in the program. They charge whatever it is they charge. We don't dictate that. And then the customer's then responsible for the difference. So I think the vet that came on board on Thomas Drive, Magnolia Bay, I think their price for a neuter is like $60. So if somebody doesn't want to drive all the way downtown to Spay Bay or can't get an appointment, they can choose to go there and pay that difference. And from what I've looked at in other communities, there are multiple, if you can get multiple vets involved, that can help spread that out some too. Some of the problem we had was Spay Bay, and not problem in a bad way, but they have so many cats that people were calling, and they were, especially early on in the year, they were months and months out to get an appointment. So having more vets on board would kind of speed up the process.
And the 15,000 is actual redeemed?
Correct.
Okay. So that's 300 cats.
It's been successful on the east end of the beach. I don't know about the rest of the city, but we've definitely noticed the difference down on the east end of the beach.
Yeah, and,
We kind of know now where we put the bar a little high and we can cut it back, cut it in half, and maybe still maintain the program, is what I'm thinking, to keep getting back in that situation we were in.
yeah, at least anecdotally, I've seen a reduction as well, but we will see it in numbers, hopefully with Bay County Animal Control here. But that's gonna be a lagging indicator.
Correct.
So it's gonna take some time for those animal control costs to go down. But again, as this is a pilot program, we wanna make sure it's an efficient use of money. Okay, so keep it at 20?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Moving right along, we'll go to the street department. Their proposed budget is just over $11.3 million. 15% supports personnel, 30% goes to operation, and the largest portion, 55%, is dedicated to the capital outlay. Staffing-wise, they are requesting a new business manager that will be shared across street, stormwater, and CRA, along with 2 CRA positions to support inspection and maintenance that will be also shared with CRA. The department is also investing in critical equipment such as a knuckle boom, crack seal machine, and a 544 loader, which is shared with stormwater. And they are also sharing the cost of Fuel Master upgrade as well as the Frenzo parking lot improvement. And this year we're budgeting for major road improvement projects, including Mandy Lane as well as Clarence Street. And both of these are funded through the 1 cent, half cent discretionary taxes. And then the other major capital project is the Public Works Safe Room, and it is shared by street and stormwater, and it's also partially funded by a $600,000 HMPG grant.
Okay.
Also, there is the TPO contribution request is in your binder, and the amount in the proposed budget is flat from 2025.
Okay, there's, yeah, so our proposed budget is flat. They did ask for an increase in Bayway.
Yeah.
And Bayway and also the Bayway On Demand. So Bayway On Demand does support some of our older population, some of the folks that need help getting, just getting around. I'd be personally amenable, because it's a relatively small increase for the Bayway On Demand, I'd be amenable to accommodating that request while keeping the TPO funding flat.
I'm good with that, Mayor.
Same here.
Yeah, I think the on-demand is a very important program for our seniors, for sure,
Okay.
and our disabled community.
Okay.
Sir, if you guys are fine with that, can I get a motion on that, so when I get the invoice for TPO, I can pay the flat rate plus the on-demand portion of that, the $4,273?
So we'll actually get 2 separate invoices, Drew?
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Within your authority.
Okay, so do we need two?
Just the TPO keeping that flat, the 44,000.
Okay, motion do we have a motion to keep, I believe a motion on the table?
Yeah, so
Keep it
moved.
flat?
Second.
Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes,
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and you did not need one for Bayway On Demand?
No, that's within my spending
That's
authority.
within your spending authority. Okay. All right, well, we got a lot of projects here. Did you, Ms. Gibson, do you have anything to say before we call up Mr. Adair to talk through some of these wonderful projects? Mr. Adair, come on up. Can we talk through the personnel first?
Sure. So, as you guys are aware, Public Works is unique in that we have 3 different funding sources with the general fund, stormwater, and the CRA. Keeping track of, you know, where money should go and making sure we're spending it appropriately is definitely, you know, something that we want to stay on top of. Currently, our department only has 1 admin, and we share 1 as well, front desk admin with utilities department. So the administrative effort involved with running all 3, you know, funding sources has, you know, we really need help with that.
Yeah.
This also was kind of a, you know, a bonus with it, with, if we can get the business manager on board, that frees up our admin to move over to Gulf Boulevard, which is very, you know, needed over there. Currently, there's no admin over at Gulf Boulevard, so having deliveries, shipments, things that come to Gulf Boulevard, having somebody there to sign off on it, also to track all of the employees' work logs and, you know, daily reports, purchases, equipment, all of that kind of stuff. So the business manager would really kind of give us 2 new, you know, tools in the box. CRA inspector. So as you guys are aware, we have segment 3 that's been ongoing for many years. We have 4.1 and 4.2, 4.3 coming up. Right now, we have been using a streets inspector to manage the full-time inspection out at the CRA segment 3. What this would allow us to do, so right now, the entire Public Works Department only has 1 active inspector to handle everything else. It's too much for 1 person. By having a CRA inspector allows us to have the full-time inspection on the CRA projects that we feel like we need, which will also, you know, provide the Public Works Department to have an inspector that can flex throughout the whole city on both the commercial, residential, you know, all the other projects that need to be, and then also on our internal, you know, CEI projects that we're going to want to try to do more of those in-house. So having another inspector there allows us to do that.
Okay, so for this position, this is, you know, there's been a big focus on this CRA, especially getting segment 3 done. And you guys have made tremendous progress on that, but we don't want the rest of the city, the non-CRA portions of the city, to be impacted.
Correct.
By the focus on the CRA. So
That's
this
correct.
brings something under the CRA budget to really focus on getting the CRA done as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, while also making sure that the rest of the city is being taken care of.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And likewise with the CRA, maintenance worker, as you guys know, CRA's constantly, you know, growing with segment 3 wrapping up, but we also have all the side roads with Clara, Nautilus, Alf Coleman, you know, so there's a lot of side roads that are not included in the landscape, you know, continuing service contract that we currently have. As of right now, I'll just be honest, it's taking 2 guys to 2 people to manage that, and so that, you know, this would allow us to pull somebody in there full time to manage the maintenance on the CRA, and then also allow, again, same thing as the inspector, you know, frees up our slot that we've been using to keep the CRA looking like it should be.
Yeah, so again, this seems to be a shift to make sure that we're taking care of the CRA, but we're also keeping capacity for the rest of the city, some of these side roads that need some maintenance.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if we don't get people to take care of the maintenance on the CRA, we're going to use people that are tasked for other things to do it, and that's going to, like you said, that's going to take away from the rest of the population of the city.
Yeah, and the CRA is important, but the entire city is important. So we have funding to focus on that, so let's focus on that. Any other comments on these positions? We can go on to some of the road improvement projects. Good to go. Okay, let's talk through some of these road improvement projects.
Sure. So Knuckle Boom, currently we have 3 and they've been in and out of operation. Just to be honest with you, we've been beating them up pretty good. We need a new knuckle boom truck.
The road improvement project.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought, you said
Yeah, road improvement. We'll talk about equipment.
Okay, yep, sure. So Mandy Lane, that's a project that's currently in, under review with the environmental. We're going through a conservation easement. That's something that's going to take a while, especially with all the, everything going on the federal side of things. Trying to get approval on that is just going to take a while. So that's currently where that's at. But that, if and when that permit breaks free and we have a plan of, to move forward, we will have the ability to move forward with the construction on that project. Clarence Street is currently notice to proceed. I believe it's August 11th. So we are getting started on that. So this is just a carry forward to do the construction funds for that project and CEI as well.
Yeah, and so the Clarence Street project, we've discussed it amongst, at the council several times before, and that road is just terrible. It's starting to get a lot more
Absolutely.
traffic.
Yep.
So it's time to hit it.
Construction time on that?
Currently, we're estimating around 15 to 18 months, just to be honest. The reason being is that I think we have 6 different phases that we're splitting it up to make sure that we have traffic to move in and out so that we're not blocking, the local traffic, not impacting it as much as possible, but it's going to take a little bit. It's about 15 to 18 months in that range.
Yeah, and I've noticed, especially since we always focus on trying to minimize the impact of construction. I know folks get frustrated with construction, and there's a tension with impact and getting the projects done, but you guys are doing a very good job striking that balance.
Thank you. And then the last one on the list there, Public Works Safe Room. We did get the grant funding, and the project was awarded for construction. I think you're going to see that one hit the street here probably within the next, I want to say, a couple weeks to a month. I would say realistically probably around September, first part of September, and then we will bring that back to you to award, and then we will seek the remaining gap in funding based upon what was awarded at construction.
Okay, and that safe room's going where?
Gulf Boulevard.
That's the Gulf Boulevard.
It's a renovation to Gulf Boulevard. We're doing roof improvements. It's a hardening project to make it to, I think it was a category 4 or 5, hurricane. I think it was a F4 tornado, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's for essential personnel to make sure that they can survive a storm event.
Yep.
And get us back in service as quickly as possible. Is that
Yep,
correct?
rapid response. Yep.
Okay. All right, and then there's the 544 loader crack seal. What's about the?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this loader.
So the loader is going to be shared with stormwater. As you guys are aware, maintaining the beach outfalls is a critical part of making sure that our city's stormwater infrastructure functions properly. We're out there every Monday. We're watching, and if anything's blocked up, we go out there and we open them up. So that's the stormwater side of things. And we also use it on many, in-house project as well. On the street side of things, it's for moving dirt around, fill, lime rock, anything in the roadway. It's just a very versatile piece of equipment. And then the crack seal is something I'm really excited about. As you guys are aware, we're doing our PCI study, our Pavement Condition Index study. What's going to come of that is actually something really, really neat. We'll be able to see almost every crack in the city on every piece of pavement within like 2 to 4 millimeters. It will also provide heat maps to say, okay, these parts of the city have more cracks in them, alligator cracks. You can actually see like almost a 3D image of every crack. It's going to be really neat. But what that'll allow us to do, especially with the crack seal equipment, we could probably have a crew at street department on crack sealing every day and not get all the cracks. But at least with the PCI study and some equipment, we could start targeting some of the worst parts of the city that are not up for resurfacing. Again, it's just part of the overall balanced resurfacing, or pavement management program.
Okay, so addressing the cracks as quickly as possible allows us to maintain the life of the roads.
Yes, absolutely. It prolongs that life, right? So if we seal the cracks, we don't let water intrusion happen. It just extends the service life of that roadway.
Yeah, and so that we don't have to really step up some of these projects and therefore cancel other projects or delay other projects to
Correct,
address them.
and we can be really strategic, hit some of the harder, roads that need, resurfacing right away, prolong some. It's just a part of a balanced program.
Okay, all right. And we've already talked about the fuel master upgrades, Frenzo. Help me understand this knuckle boom truck, this $300,000 for this truck.
So, yes, our knuckle boom trucks, they're used to pick up the bulk waste, as part of the bulk waste program. We use it for that. We also use it for vegetation cleanup. Residents put vegetation on the side of the road. We drive up and down the streets and pick up the vegetation and haul it away. Also used on, again, vegetation cleanups that we do, if we're out trimming up trees, clearing line of sight. There's a excess amount, leaves it on the side of the road, our knuckle boom truck comes and picks it up. It's just a very versatile piece of equipment.
Okay, speaking about the bulk waste program, how hard is it on that truck?
It's pretty hard. I'm going to be honest. They beat them up pretty well, but it's been a very successful program. I will say that the residents are using them. We're seeing an increase of volume that we're hauling off. So it's just one of those things to where we feel it's been really successful, especially going to quarterly. We're not. It's only 4 times a year, one east side, west side. So our call requests for bulk waste pickup has dropped almost 10 times, 8 times, something in that range. The volume of material that we're picking up has increased 1.5 to 2 times. So calls are going down. Volume is we're hauling away has gone up.
Okay, so yeah, as a pilot program, it's getting good use. How much are we paying in tipping fees to support that program?
Tipping fees, as far as I would say, the tipping fees are I would say a minimal part of it when we look at cost. So somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 every quarter. So somewhere in that
Okay.
range.
What's the cost for that program?
The total cost for the whole program is running, I would say, for a year, because we have to look at the numbers. In 2024, it didn't start until, I would say, March-ish, and then to run the full year. But to average, it's running about $180,000 to $200,000 to run the whole program.
So where's that 200,000? Where are those costs coming from?
Currently, it's being handled by the Public Works Department.
I mean, what's causing those costs?
Personnel.
and
A lot of it is, if you look at the FEMA, so one of the ways that we track the costs is we say, okay, here's what this truck is worth. It's on the road this many hours. It has to drive this many miles. What if FEMA has rates that says, okay, there's a cost value associated with that. So a lot of that's where that number is coming from. If you were to take, that piece of equipment, that operator, and they're on the road that many hours, that's where the bulk of that cost as far as, generating that $180,000, $200,000 cost.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, I know it's been a successful program, but it is a pilot program, and $200,000 continuing costs for the city is quite expensive. I'd like to reduce or eliminate this program, especially since we're really looking at a pretty tight budget year this year. I'd be interested in the council's thoughts on that.
Well, I think it's definitely been a successful program, and it's not something that is in-house. It's a direct benefit to the residents of the city. I personally would like to see it stay. Now, the boom trucks we have, how old are they?
I don't know the exact age off the top of my head, but I know at any given time, 1 or 2 of them are down just because They're
They're
already
old.
old.
How many do we
Like, the
have?
air conditioning has been down on one, we repair it, it goes out another week later. They're just old.
Yeah.
They need
So, I
to be
mean,
replaced.
we're getting, as far as boom trucks are concerned, we're getting end-of-service life on them
Oh, yeah.
regardless of the bulk waste program or any, or it, I mean, we do a heck of a lot more on yard debris removal than bulk waste.
Yeah, yard debris is a year-round thing that we do, and we're going around the city picking them up. And again, they support other operations of the department as well. So it is a useful piece of equipment.
Yeah, but I think the point is, Steelfield has amnesty days already, and having folks clean out their garage, I mean, yeah, it's a nice thing to do for folks, but is that a core government service that, you know, we could be spending more money resurfacing roads or doing other projects with this funds? So a reduction, especially if you said the boom trucks beat up pretty heavily for this.
They do. I mean, throwing around refrigerators and other pieces of equipment, you know, household appliances.
Yeah.
Would you guys be amenable to meeting in the middle and kind of scaling it back over the next couple of years?
That's what I was thinking, spring and fall maybe, or.
Yeah, maybe like a
Would
January.
that cut your cost in half, or?
Absolutely. So again, most of the cost is not direct costs such as tipping fees. Those are kind of minimal. Most of that cost is fuel costs and then wear and tear on the piece of equipment. That's where we're seeing that cost. So, you know, reducing that by half or more definitely impact
Instead of
that cost.
eliminating it, maybe we split the baby on it and cut it in half.
Okay, so maybe like a January, September, so right after
Whenever.
the holidays.
Whatever Public Works thinks the best.
Sure,
for them
currently
does it.
I think we're January, April, July, right after the 4th of July, and then one more in October. So we can just pick, you know, the one after the 4th of July and one in January kind of thing after Christmas.
Yeah,
Seems
I mean,
reasonable.
for me, I mean, I can take a refrigerator to the dump on Amnesty Day, but we have a very high elderly population that's not going to be able to do that. And I think this service is a huge benefit to the majority of our population, which is older. And to expect, you know, a 70-year-old to take a refrigerator up to Steelfield is, I think, not reasonable. And at $200,000,
Yeah, 180, 200.
$180,000,
Yeah.
$200,000, which is based on a FEMA algorithm, then, I mean, I'd like to keep it.
Well,
I'd like to
That's
keep
just
it
me.
too. I just think we could cut it in half, and like the mayor said,
Yeah,
it's a tight budget year.
Yeah, I think cutting it in half makes sense. The point's well taken, although I've seen some extremely strong 70-year-olds here.
Yeah.
And, and when you get a new fridge, you can also just have whoever delivers the fridge take your old fridge out. But yeah, I think that strikes a nice middle. We'll cut it in half for this year, and just see how it goes in terms of costing.
Do you have an idea of what pickup dates were the most popular ones when people were really putting stuff out?
We're still getting the data back in for the July one, but I think the first one in January wasn't too popular because it was just trying to get the word out. Then the March one definitely was a huge increase, and then the July one, I think, even increased more on top of that. I have the numbers here, I can tell you. The one I don't have is the January one offhand.
I was just thinking if we're going to cut it to twice a year, looking at what we've done in the past might help us decide when the best time is to do that, because I do think that we need to continue doing it.
Okay, yeah, well, letting staff choose the dates.
Yeah.
Can you guys just take
You
that
know, rather than
direction on
us
what's
picking it up the year, yeah.
most beneficial for
Can I have a
our
motion on
residents?
whatever you're gonna do?
What's that?
Yes.
Can I have a motion
Yeah.
on whatever
Sure.
you're gonna do?
Okay, can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we cut the bulk waste in half and do it twice a year.
Based on staff's direction of the most
That's
popular
right.
time.
Staff's direction on when to do it.
No problem.
Is that good? Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to cut the bulk waste into 2 times a year and with dates to be selected by the staff. Okay, motion and a second. Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
No.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adair.
No problem.
Thanks, John.
Now, where are we putting that other $100,000?
Flock cameras.
We don't have to spend all,
Well, I know, let's just make sure we pull it out of the budget then.
yep.
It would go
Okay.
back into reserves unless you direct otherwise.
Yep, and it's been about an hour, so let's take about a 5 to 10 minute recess, 10-minute recess. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Cole, you read my mind. Sorry. I wouldn't pay for a failing.
All right, everyone ready to go? Everyone's got their jackets?
Yeah.
All right, meeting is resumed.
Okay, continuing on with general fund, we're almost done with general fund. We have the library, and their proposed budget is just a little over $360,000 this year, with over $219,000 being allocated to the Bay County Public Library. We have budgeted a flat contribution, and the library's requested contribution is in your pack as well.
Okay. Any discussion from the council?
Nope, good to move on this one.
Yeah,
Okay with the flat contribution? Okay,
all good.
all good.
It's like, don't
Hold
open
on.
Can I get a
that
motion
can
on
of
this
worms
one also?
Yeah.
Oh, do we need a motion for this?
Yes, sir, please.
Yep. Okay, can I get a motion for or would someone like to make a motion for the contribution?
Motion to approve.
To, motion for a,
The flat rate?
Yeah, do you want a flat or to increase
Oh.
it by 29,681 that the county is at?
They're requesting a 4% increase, is that right?
Yes.
14, comes out to about $30,000 more. I put it in the budget as flat, similar to last year. So I just need the motion if you guys want to keep it flat or if you want to increase it.
They're requesting, how much?
29,681, right?
correct?
Yeah, increase.
And that's for, personnel increase?
Most of that would be their wages and their insurance as well.
I think they're kind of in the same boat we're in. I mean, we've given our staff, 6-7% increase. It's an important part of our community. I like the grant for what they're requesting. I mean, I think they do a great job, personally.
Other thoughts on that one?
What's the percent increase you said then?
14%.
14. They saw a 4% increase of library cards.
That's what I was, yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
And we pay all the utilities and all the upkeep on the building and the property there?
Yes.
We
I'm down
looked
for a
at,
4% increase.
yeah, we looked at doing our own library. We found we couldn't do it as near as cheap as they're doing it for. So
Would it be okay to ask Ms. Joyner's thoughts on this? Ms. Joyner?
Yeah. Ms. Joyner, please. I will say that 4% increase, they have this policy there where you have to get a new card or renew it every year, which is just one of the most insane things I've seen. It's like, why can't I just keep why do I have to renew it every year? It's nuts. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Just, this letter's written to you, it looks like, so what are your thoughts? Do you spend much time?
Woo! Mark needs it more.
I mean, yes, they, I understand the 4% increase, you know, we're all dealing with that with staffing. I believe in the letter, they're also asking for an increase in the books.
10.
Jeremiah has been, and Webb has been instrumental in trying to keep other costs down. We're looking at putting in hand dryers, which is gonna, we have a big problem with going through a lot of paper towels over there. Where the foundation was something we had put in last year. Jeremiah's worked really hard on reducing that. We found out it's cosmetic, so we've saved some money there. We were also looking at replacing one of the other big AC units and have worked really hard to find that we're going to be able to not have to replace it for a couple years. We've got some simple repairs we can do. So we're working on our end to save it, but this is...
Yeah, okay, so we have we put a lot of capital and operations work in this. They're asking for this 15% increase, which is that's a pretty big jump year on year. If we want to cover a little bit of the expected staff increases that we saw, I mean, what do we do, a 3% cost of living increase? That's what we did this year?
Yeah.
And they got a 4% increase in library cards, so maybe we could do,
we're splitting the baby again.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And then I'd like and I probably could pull it, but when the county sends a request for increase, I'd like what we had from them fiscal '25 and what they're requesting broken down, so we can see exactly line item.
It's in there.
I think it's in your packet.
I'm looking at,
It's this next
hold on.
page.
Oh,
Yeah, so
shoot,
that-
next
it's the
page.
next page.
Thank you. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm down for 4%.
Okay, yeah, so that would basically cover a little bit more of cost of living and a little bit of their, cost of living and their insurance. Okay?
Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah, we would need a motion on.
Motion to increase the library request, or increase the library budget by 4% from last year's numbers.
Second.
Okay. Motion's clear for staff? Yes. Okay. Ms. Pizzani?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, we saved the fund department for last in the general fund.
Oh, we already had some fun with Ms. Joyner up here.
The recreation's proposed budget this year is about $13.9 million, and it's broken down to approximately 20% for personnel, 23% for operating expenses, and 56% for capital outlay. And the key capital projects for this upcoming year are the Frank Brown Park Community Center and Safe Room, and it is funded primarily through a $4.4 million HMPG grant with additional support from the impact fees. Also, a new pickleball courts and restrooms, and a park shop facility, the extension of the safety netting, and the Miracle League resurfacing. And some of the other equipment purchases that are included in this proposed budget are air conditioning upgrades, a scissor lift for the Aaron Besant Park stage, as well as golf carts. And the Recreation Department also shares in the Fuel Master upgrade.
Okay, Ms. Joyner, before you come up, Ms. White, we keep seeing this acronym HMPG. Can you help us understand or help the audience understand?
Yep, so HMGP is Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, and you'll see that throughout the city. All those projects that we have HMGP grants for are as a result of Hurricane Michael, and they typically have to do with making a structure more resilient. So a lot of times they're hardening to withstand a tornado or a hurricane, or like many years ago, we did the pier and we changed the shape of the pilings so that it would disperse the waves better. So it's all about making it stronger so that FEMA doesn't have to come back later and pay you for the same asset again.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we just get a variety of funding sources here. We try to stitch it together, and our wonderful team makes it all work with a lot of diligence. All right, Ms. Joyner, can you talk us through some of these projects?
Yes, the safe room is going to go right next to our current community center, about 17,000 square feet. It's still in reviews at this point, but it's going to give us a lot of options for more indoor programming, volleyball, lots of options that we're really looking forward to. It'll be two-story with some classrooms upstairs as well. The pickleball courts, kids are going back to school, so they were lined up this morning, ready to play at the park, so we're very excited about that. I did get an update yesterday from Morgan with Dewberry. They have one permit from FDEP and are hoping to hear by Friday is a 30-day deadline for the stormwater permit that they're waiting on, and still hoping to go out to bid for that in September. That initial concept is 8 courts with the restroom, lights, and 4 of them shaded. The park shop is a continuous process. I had updated you guys before. We did do a section in-house. We're hoping to go out to bid very shortly for another section. You know, they have to work out of that area, so that is something that I'll keep coming back with, because it just can't completely, do the entire project at once. So it'll continue to be looked at in phases. And as much as we can do in-house, we will continue to work on. Safety netting, we have some safety netting at the pool right now, but it's not as tall as it needs to be, as we're finding more and more. We're having issues with balls going into the pool. Now that we've added the skate park, we want to wrap around to cover the Miracle League and the skate park from that, and also a section of the soccer field at Field 6. We're continuing to get that, just a safety issue. One of the great things about Frank Brown Park is how many amenities there are, and the downside is you share your spaces, so we're just trying to make all those safe.
Yeah, keep the balls in the correct courts.
Right area,
Or in
yeah.
the correct fields, yeah.
The Miracle League field, that was originally built in 2009. We did resurface back in, I believe it was 19. Those types of things, just like tennis and basketball, every 5 to 8 years, depending on the surface, it's due for another coat.
Yeah. So that safe room is going to be really nice facility. Really looking forward to that. And then that's a $4.4 million grant that we're using to partially fund that, dominantly fund that. That's going to be a great facility. Those pickleball courts I know are extremely popular. For the park shop, you guys do so much work in-house to keep an efficient division over there, so that we really appreciate you continuing to do improvements. The safety netting, I'll be honest, I'm surprised we didn't need it earlier.
We have some, it's just not quite.
Yeah, especially as we're using more of the park.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. And Miracle League, we really appreciate Rotary helping to build that, and maybe worth talking to them as well.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. I should have mentioned that. We are talking to them, and they've received, even from some of our softball tournaments, that the adult ones that do hit the balls in there have been making donations to Rotary. That our Spiders tournament has they come out and volunteer when they're here, and they've been making donations along with a tennis group. So I think we are going to have some funding from them for that.
Okay, and I really appreciate Rotary's a great partner with the city in a number of ways, and so we really appreciate them offering to help on that. And that Miracle League field is such a great asset. Frank Brown's a park for everyone, and that one of the ways is that Miracle League field.
The Lindell, we have 2 very large units that run the ballroom. One we had to replace sort of unexpectedly last year, but we know the other one is the same age, and it's coming. We did switch to a heat pump and plan to do that with this one as well, and it's going to eliminate propane there, which will be good because the tank is old and it's right in the parking lot, and we've had close calls. Chiefs evacuated the building before when we had some of our pickleballers get a little close to it, but that is just, it's going to come up, so we're just trying to proactively plan that it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, that's definitely not the kind of excitement we want at pickleball.
No. Same thing with the scissor lift at Aaron Besson. It is a staple to that stage. Every event, including all of our summer concerts, it's a necessity. We did an overhaul. We have a great in-house mechanic that really did a good overhaul on it this year, but again, it's just not something we can afford for it to fail. And golf carts, that's our lifeline. With over 20 maintenance staff, it's just something we constantly rotate and have newer ones in the fleet.
Yeah, well, it's a great option instead of running trucks. So, okay, any discussion or comments from the council?
No. Thank you for all,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
an incredible job in thinking outside
Thanks.
the box.
Boys and girls, what you got? What did you have?
Senior Center.
Yep. Before we move from Parks and Rec, there are 3 motions I'd like you to make.
Okay.
We contribute money to 3 different groups. Boys and Girls Club, they want to stay flat at $64,000 again this year. I know we also do a contribution to the Senior Center. They want to stay flat this year at $65,000, same as we paid last year. And then the Bay County Estuary Club has asked for a donation of $20,000. That money would help them fund grants
Thank you, Mr. Joyner.
for their matching funds to help out projects throughout Bay County and the Panhandle.
Okay.
Which was the last one you just said?
The Estuary Committee,
The estuary.
Yep.
Have we given them money before?
this would be the first time, sir.
They've never asked for money before.
Is this a one-time ask they're asking?
Yes, sir.
Are they ever?
I imagine it will be an ongoing ask.
Their letter was one time. You would know. So.
I mean, it would be one time for this year.
Yeah,
But I do imagine that this would be an ongoing thing. They have an opportunity to apply for a lot of grants, but all the grants require a match, and that's where they're falling short on being able to get some of the grants to help clean up our waterways. Currently, they are doing the litter traps here in Panama City Beach, so that is one project. They're also working with beachside restaurants to deal with the oyster shells. Because the ones that just throw them out there, as you know, they develop salmonella, and if people, touch them, they can get ill from them.
I can certainly see a collaboration in the future in trying to get grants to help, out here on the beach possibly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so this is,
You need a motion on these three?
Yes, sir, on all three of them.
I'll make a motion for the numbers that you just mentioned for the senior center and the Boys and Girls Club and the estuary.
Second.
okay, Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, Ms. Gibson.
Okay, we'll continue on into our other funds. We'll start with the CRA.
Actually, Ms. Gibson, if you don't mind, I'm just going to mark for the public that we're now moving away from the general fund, which, into funds that are more restricted. So we have to use the revenue that comes into these funds for these purposes. The general fund, we have a lot more leeway on spending the money. Okay.
Just one second.
Yes.
So before we move to CRA, we didn't talk about the general fund revenue at all.
We did, at the very, very beginning.
So, but in terms of how we're keeping things flat or the five-year
Gotcha. Oh,
plan, so could you just touch on that a minute?
Yeah, I think that'd be useful to wrap up on the general fund.
Yes, so this year, we're keeping our revenue basically flat. And therefore, that was one reason, because our BTR has been so flexible this year, and so I'm kind of pretty much unpredictable. So, and this year, we are doing we're doing a 1% growth for our BTR. And all our other revenues are basically flat. And then projecting on out, we have several different projections, like with an increase of 3% possibly. But that's in further years. We'll just have to wait and see what the growth projections are.
Okay, so due to the economic environment this year, we're projecting the BTR, which is a dominant source of funding, about a third of the general fund, to be flat, which is why several of the departments haven't been adding personnel, have been really frugal with some of these projects, these ongoing capital projects. And so in the packet the public has access to, in the packet we have up here, what you have is flat this year, and then assuming some of this economic uncertainty we're seeing throughout the country abates, a 1%, so a really modest increase in BTR going forward. You also have some projections for maybe kind of more of a bounce back scenario where you have a 3% increase in BTR. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, the point that I wanted her to make and that you hit on is that Joey's done a really good job of giving you some different scenarios, which I think is really important in this five-year plan, because it shows you what just a slight change up or down in the BTR can really do to those reserves at the end of 5 years. So you have all that information. The public has that information as well.
Yeah, and that's in part, I mean, we're in a good fiscal spot this year, but we want to make sure we're not just budgeting for this year. We're looking long-term so that we don't put the city and future councils in a bind by the decisions we make this year that go forward. Okay, and yeah, these projections are very useful for understanding the different scenarios. Unlike many municipalities, because we don't have an ad valorem tax, we don't have an as stable source of funding for our dominant funding for our general fund. which means we are a little bit more prone, or a lot more prone, by keeping taxes as low on the, property taxes as low on the residents and the business owners as possible, where we have to be very careful up here, and we're fairly sensitive to changes in the economic environment. So we're trying to be prudent. This was a lot of the work that the departments have done. This is a lot of work that your staff has done to make sure that we're safe now so that we don't get ourselves in trouble later.
And that BTR is heavily dependent on our tourism traffic. So if that tourism traffic dips, then it really can make an effect on the services provided to the rest of the population here on the beach.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. White. Thank you, Ms. Gibson.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the community redevelopment area budget. This year, we are proposing just approximately $68.5 million, and it's focusing heavily on capital investments with 84% allocated to the capital outlay, and these are supported by dedicated revenue sources. As the mayor said earlier, these are more restricted funds, or our restricted funds. The new shared positions for the CRA include the business manager, the CRA inspector, and the maintenance worker, and these are all funded by the CRA's dedicated revenues, which are shared and also shared with the streets and stormwater. And the major capital outlays include construction along segments 3, 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3 of Front Beach Road. And these are partially funded by over $15 million in HMPG grants over the entire construction project timeframe. Also, the roadway improvements, think like Powell Adams, Hills Road, and crosswalks in segment 1 and 5. We're also requesting machinery and equipment that includes a large vac truck, shared 50-50 with stormwater, and then a truck. Some of our operating enhancements include traffic and parking studies, paint striping, landscape contracting, pipelining, fuel master upgrades, and they also share in the Forenzo parking lot improvement project.
Okay. All right, Mr. Adair, can you help us understand that this is a major source of construction and also a source of improvement for the city?
I'd just like to say how happy I am to see segment 3 has no funding past 2026.
On the capital side.
On the capital
Right.
All right, thank you. So yes, as you're talking, segment 3 is coming to an end. Hopefully this, knock on wood, this will be the last one. So that leads us into 4.1 and 4.2.
And just, Mr. Adair, we know what segment 3 means. The
Okay.
public doesn't necessarily know when we say segment 3 what it means.
Okay, so segment 3 is the roundabout here. If you go down Arnold towards Front Beach Road, and the roundabout just east and west of that roundabout is segment 3.
Okay, so 70, Back Beach, 79, or South Arnold.
Yep.
Roundabout, and then to Low Water Drive.
To Low Water Drive, exactly. And then Low Water Drive to about, I want to say, right where the Ramada is, I think it's Kelly Street. Hills, that's right, Hills. Is 4.1, and then 4.2 is, then from there on. So.
Yeah, that's the Nautilus
No.
crane.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a Nautilus, yeah, okay.
4.3 is from Casalona to Richard Jackson.
Okay, so 4.1 is Low Water to Hills. 4.2, which we're combining with 4.1, is Hills to Nautilus. And then 4.3 is
Casaloma.
Yeah, Casaloma,
Yeah.
which is, yeah. And then 4.3 is Casaloma up to R. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. They kind of blur together at this point. They all, it's not the
Yeah,
same.
well, we're combining 4.1 and 4.2,
Yeah,
so.
right.
Yeah.
So the big number that you see there for 4.1 and 4.2 is the anticipated start of construction. We're expecting to begin that in fiscal year '26. 4.3, the bulk of what you see in 4.3 there is right-of-way acquisitions on the remaining parcels to make sure we have all the right-of-way necessary to move forward towards construction.
And Mr. Adair, doing that right-of-way acquisition, and actually Mr. Whitman knows the history of what we call segment 3, that we started without doing all the right-of-way acquisition.
That is correct.
Yeah, so this is one of the ways in which the city, we're making sure to not make the mistakes of segment 3. We're doing the right-of-way acquisition as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yep. So that, the idea being we have all the right-of-way, then we move forward to construction as we go forward. But, so the bulk of that is what that's for. Powell Adams, what you're seeing there is we're going to try to kick off the design, and that way so we can identify what we need as far as right-of-way and everything like that. Same goes for Hills Road. We're going to try to kick those forward with design in fiscal year 26, so we can start identifying those as the projects to come after 4.3.
John, can we jump back to 4.1 and 4.2?
Yes, sir.
When do you anticipate us going out for bid on that?
I wish I knew. If I knew, I would tell you, I'd be honest. Our review with FDEM is almost complete. We've gotten, I think, through the comments. So their next step is to transfer the review to FEMA. Once it goes to FEMA, it's anybody's guess when it goes to the federal side of how long it would take for them to do the review. So that is our current state. But I think I want to say we're mostly done with all the RFIs with FDEM.
So we're within a few months, you think?
I wish I could tell you. I'd be lying if I told you I knew an answer.
And all these reviews are based off of the grant?
Correct, correct. So, as part of that grant, we received the funding for phase 1, which was design. We've requested funding to move forward for phase 2, which is construction. FDEM is the arm in which FEMA is funneling the money to us. And so FDEM has reviewed it, then it goes to FEMA, and then they review it. But since FEMA's in such flux, I couldn't tell you, how long that's going to take. I don't know. I hope it goes quick.
This $9 million grant, we still haven't got that yet, huh?
That's part of the stuff he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's what this.
We've been waiting years for that.
It's all hurricane, all the HMGP grants are Hurricane Michael related.
So we can't start the project without this
No,
grant?
if you start it, you forfeit the money.
We can't front the money and go?
That's not how they work.
Soon as we start the project, we lose the $9 million?
Right.
Most of the time, yes.
Yes. Because we have to make sure that we're doing everything and that the money is for. Like, they have to.
Yeah, but if they're
approve.
not gonna tell you when they're gonna give you the money, we may be better off to just walk away from that and move on. If we're gonna be 2 more years, 3 more years waiting on $9 million.
We're hoping it's quicker than that, sir, but this gives us a great opportunity to review the plans with Dewberry and with DERMP, and with John being an expert in engineering on the roadside. It gives us the 3 to 4 months to review it in-house and with our consultant with Dewberry to make sure that when we do put it out, it's accurate and ready to go, so we don't have.
But we're just we're tweaking this plan. We're not letting Ben and his group redesign it 4.1 and 4.2. We're just tweaking what Dewberry did, is that right?
Right now, we're reviewing it, and then we're reviewing alternatives for a delivery method for the project. Typical, past projects have been design, bid, build, for example. We're reviewing options. That's certainly an option to move forward, but we're also looking at potential of doing design, design build, preferred design build. There's some other delivery methods. So that's what we're not going to modify the plans because they're so far along. But what's great about the plans being at this state, it allows us the flexibility to create a design package that we could put on the street that would give us very competitive design build.
I just want to make sure we're not letting them redesign it. I mean, we've been.
No, DRP is not redesigning it.
No, okay, they're just tweaking it then, right?
We're evaluating it. We were not, they can't make any changes. Dewberry is the engineer of record, so they would have to make the changes.
I don't know if this is time or place, but I don't know if the rest of the council feels this way. Can we get an update on where we are, say, first meeting of January, and then we can see where we are with the approvals for the grant, and then we as a council at that time can look at the benefits of either staying on course, waiting for the grants, or not worrying about them?
Yeah, I think it's worth having a update either as the grant process moves through.
Sure.
Or having a checkpoint.
Yeah.
Is January going to be a good time for you to do that, January, February?
Yeah, absolutely. We can give you an update. I just hope we have an answer. I
Yeah.
hope we have an answer by then, and then we're moving forward.
Yeah, we want to get these projects done. We want to get them on the street. And so, you know, eating a $9 million hole that's a big decision, but we also do need to get this project done. I really appreciate you guys looking at different delivery mechanisms. So, you know, one of the constant feedbacks, bits of feedback I get from residents is, why didn't you bid it this way? Why didn't you bid it that way? And so I know you're looking at making sure that we're evaluating our options so that as construction proceeds, it's proceeding in a timely fashion rather than some of the challenges we've had with segment 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of options, and especially since, you know, segment 3 went, you know, DOT has standardized a lot of the processes, and FEMA recognizes them, so they wouldn't jeopardize any of our funding. So yeah, we're looking into that.
Is this 39.3 before you've looked into any cost efficiencies that you're looking at, or?
This is before.
So,
So this is based strictly off the 100% cost estimates done so far.
And I would assume that we've learned from other segments, and maybe that number could potentially be brought down.
I would hope so. But this is without DRMP, without any of us making any changes. These are the plans that are approved. We didn't want to come in because they're with FDEM for review. So if we make any changes, if we modify anything at this point, it could start the clock over. So that's why we decided not to make any changes or do anything like that. So this is strictly the plans as they are as of today.
And that 39 million is 4.1 and 4.2 together?
Yes, sir.
Well, stage one.
That's just
Yeah, that's stage one.
That's correct. That's a good point, Ms. Holly. That's
Yeah.
just the first year
We're
of
looking at
this.
60.
The first tier?
First year.
That's just the first year.
That's just the first year of
But
construction.
the project.
About 134
from
million.
start to finish, from Lowwater Lake to Casa Loma, that 39 million is not going to cover that.
No.
About 130.
It'd be 140.
Yeah.
If you add up the 26, 27, 28, 29, it'd be about 140 to 145
You
million
don't
dollars.
have that in here?
Yes, it's in
Yes, sir.
So, Councilman, if you look at this, right,
Okay.
so it'll be a few pages later, and also for the public, it's in your
So
packet.
that's just for this year? I
It's
got
just for
that.
this
I'm
year,
sorry.
yeah, to
All right.
cast
So
a
as
vote.
we move
Yeah.
forward over the next, 3-4 years.
Yeah, I knew
total.
that was way low for the construction of both of them, so
Yeah, and-
it's just for the year.
Yeah.
And then my point is that the longer we wait, construction costs are probably
Oh, that's
just gonna
right.
go up.
Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
that's when we have to make a decision on that $9 million grant. Okay,
Exactly.
the longer we wait, or at what point do we hit 9 million loss?
Exactly.
For waiting.
You got a $140 million project, but now you have a subject matter expert, which we have not had on our team, who's gonna be able to find some cost efficiencies and hopefully move faster. I think we can eat through that and find $9 million worth of savings on a $140 million project by moving faster and giving the community
Getting it started.
results.
Yeah, I'm tired
All
of
right,
waiting
well,
on that 9 million. We've been
see you
waiting
in
on that 9
January?
million.
Absolutely. we can move forward however you guys want us.
I feel like we've got a guy that's able to push this project forward now on our team, and we should go full steam ahead and get this going. Now, with 4.1 and 4.2, they have to be combined to get the grant, correct?
Correct.
But if we move forward without the grant, they don't have to be combined.
That's correct.
Does
We
that
could
make us
split them
more
up.
efficient? Does that allow us to
Potentially.
be?
It would
you know,
also, the upfront cost would definitely drop. So that is an option as well.
So, I mean, personally, I think that $9 million could be saved based off moving quicker and construction cost. Potentially, I'd like to see some numbers on that.
Okay.
And see what that looks like.
Yeah, so can you come back to us with your analysis before January?
We can come to you, we're in the process currently of preparing what are our options, what do those look like, and then we're gonna
How
present
much
that.
time do you need for that?
Well, we got,
Yeah.
give me a little bit, because I know
keep in mind, they're pushing forward on segment 3 as well.
Right, so that's our
let's,
focus,
let's not,
at the moment.
Let's get segment 3, and I think that January checkpoint is useful. It'll give you time to review the plans, We will see where we're at with FDM with the permits. And so just preparing for that January timeframe.
And if he finishes it before then, he can come to us.
Yes.
in November?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One last question on 4.3 there. If we do away with the $9 million, does that affect the 6 million on 4.3?
Not currently, no. 4.3
Two
is.
totally different,
They're currently separate.
and we can go ahead and get ahead on that and continue to work on 4.3.
But 4.3 already lost, is potentially, has lost it's part of its funding.
They're trying to claw back some of their funding.
FEMA's, yeah, because it's part of the Hurricane Michael funds, the period of performance for Hurricane Michael, FEMA came back and said at the beginning of the year, we're not extending it. We've heard some things lately that maybe they may extend it again, but we have made a request to withdraw the funding support for phase 2 for 4.3 at the moment. So as to not.
I mean, okay, there's a lot, there's just too much up in the air right now, I guess, so I don't want,
Let's
Like
let
I said,
the,
yeah, but let's move it forward.
yeah,
January, and if they get it done sooner, come to us.
yeah, we've got progress going right now, so focus on that. They've got a few things pushing forward at FDM, Florida Department of Emergency Management. You got the review right now. You know, I think.
I mean, the grant's a feel-good thing, and it looks great to see it down there, and this is gonna be great and partially funded by this. But if they're already clawing back money and we're having to jump through every hoop and circle and.
Delay.
Delay, you know,
Okay.
It's definitely something for you to consider.
okay.
Yeah, and so when you have better information for us, we're looking forward to reviewing it, and we'll definitely get a checkpoint in January.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, and then crosswalk segment 1 and 5, one's over on South Thomas on the east end, 5 is
Correct.
on the west end.
So previously, you guys approved us to do a warrant study for segment 5 for the RFBs. I know that that's something, one of the things that we're looking at, so that study is, I would say, almost 95% complete. We're just tweaking that. So we should have that ready to present soon. So part of that funding is to set aside to put RFBs on segment 5 if you so choose. Also what we're going to look at, and I believe you guys requested for August 28th, is for us to present options for pedestrian crossings throughout the whole corridor. So some of those funds could be used to make those improvements, whatever the council decides going forward. But that's one of our things that we'll be talking about is because these have been built in different phases and different, timeframes where the standards have been different, making them harmonious across the whole corridor is something that we're definitely going to be looking to do.
Okay.
So that's what the crosswalk funding is for.
And we've already talked about the vac truck, and then the operating enhancements, the traffic impact study, and the parking study. The traffic impact study is something we asked for up here. Parking study going forward, just understanding parking from Beach Road. Paint striping, Churchwell and R. Jackson, that's some older segments, parts of the CRA, they need to be striped.
Correct.
Landscape contract for segment 3 as we turn it over, we've discussed this before. What is pipelining?
So pipelining, as infrastructure, stays in the ground, it starts to deteriorate. Lining certain segments, and then I think this one is specifically for a crossing on segment 5 to hold it together, until we can get segment 5, the construction of the full phase in. But pipelining in general is to go in there and to line an older pipe to try to restore the structural integrity of the pipe before it has an issue.
Okay, all right. I've seen some neat videos on how that happens. That is some cool stuff. Okay, so that's segment 5, which we call it segment 5. It's west of the roundabout.
Correct.
Okay. Fuel master upgrade, we talked about. Frenzo, we talked about. 4%, is that one parking spot? that was just a joke. That was just a joke. All right, any further discussion on the council? And, Mr. Adair, thank you. As you can tell, this council is very enthusiastic about the CRA and getting it done as quickly as possible. We also want to make sure that we're not causing churn on your department, especially As we really appreciate you bringing in these new positions so that we can accelerate the CRO. We do want to get it done. So thank you for answering our questions here, and I'm sure,
One last question about the crosswalks.
Yes, sir.
And I brought this up at the last council meeting about how we're becoming more of a walkable, friendly community, and the crosswalks that the county's got on Thomas Drive, they've had several people get hit down there. They're a terrible design. I just want to make sure we're not going to do any of what they're doing. Put some lighting in the road, or have a place midway on the median where people have a safe zone where they can take 2 lanes at a time instead of trying to go 80 feet across on a twinkle light that cars don't stop on.
Absolutely. That's part of one of the design efforts that 4.1 and 4.2 have. They have the median, and they call them refuge islands for people to come in and wait and then go forward.
So we're not going to do what the county did on the Thomas Drive.
Well, we're going to do things according to the standards.
Okay.
He's going to give you an update on August 28th at our city council meeting. You guys directed us last meeting to bring something back, so he's going to discuss some of the options on August 28th, normal city council meeting.
I do see one of those flashing lights in an island already on segment 3, so I don't know if that was in the plans. But yeah, we're going to talk about this on the 20th.
We need those to be as safe as we can, because we're getting more and more people walking and crossing.
Correct. That's one of the things that myself and DRMP, we're going to put together a presentation for the council on the 28th to highlight some of those different options that are available. And then we'll be bringing that to you so we can have that discussion.
That's all I got. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, yep. Further discussion? Okay. He's going to be back up for stormwater, I think, pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you think, about 45 minutes for that one, too? Okay. No, you can tell we really do care about this CRA, and it is an important part of the future of the city. Okay.
Okay, before we move from the CRA, though, I did want to touch on the revenues for the CRA.
Yes.
The CRA is primarily funded through 59% of debt proceeds and 33% of TIF assessments, and the remaining comes from little grants and fees that we have. So you can see that the majority of even those grants we have are just a teeny small portion of our funding. But if you look back into the 5-year plan that is in your book, we do have the $40 million debt proceed budgeted for fiscal year 2026, but we also have these grant funds budgeted as well going through 26 and 27, that $15 million. So if you continue to look through the following years to see where CRA is, like we're eventually going to run into some major money deficit.
Yeah, so Ms. Gibson, what you're putting out, go ahead.
And we do have some more funding capacity, but definitely not to this capacity that we'll need here. So that's something else that's going to have to be contemplated and reviewed as we move forward, because this does include these grants. So
okay,
it's going to affect the whole 5-year moving forward plan as well.
So we appreciate the desire to move more quickly, but we may have some fiscal handcuffs, is what she's politely trying to say here, as we move through the next 5 years. You know, we won't physically have enough cash, even with our bonding capacity, to do all these things, within the next 5-year period. So, we'll have to, we've got this built out, and we'll have to get that secondary. We have a $40 million bond issue we did a few years back. We have another $40 million bond issue that we've actually pulled the reins back on twice because we can't issue it too early. We end up paying money to the IRS if we do that. So that timing becomes somewhat critical on when that second $40 million bond issue gets issued. And then even with that and with the grants, if we were to do all of this as quickly as we've got shown in the 5 years, we won't have the cash to do it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to look at alternative funding sources, or we haven't been overly concerned about this because typically things don't happen quite as quickly as we show them in the 5-year plan. But by your conversations today, you are indicating you would like them to happen that quickly, and I just want to caution you that we will have fiscal constraints.
Yeah, so that's very useful. So if you compare the 5-year plan with the 5-year budget forecast, so you can kind of pull out your page, we have a 5-year plan, we have 4142 ending on fiscal year 29, and if you look at fiscal year 29 with our forecasts, including the $9 million HMGP grant, we have a shortfall of about 11 million in order to fund that. So cost efficiencies are going to be important. Pulling the grants we can, as long as they, proceed in a timely manner, and we think they're going to proceed, is important. But we're still looking at in 29 a $11 million shortfall, and that's including. Am I correct in understanding that's including the additional bonding?
That includes the 40 million.
So so at that point we're pretty set. And we have to.
But is that all the more reason to break up these segments and?
Well, it certainly worked for us at the beginning of the CRA in some respects. I know it was slower than everybody wanted it to be, but it did allow us to build up with a combination of bond money, and then it let us build up TIF money.
Sure.
To kind of try to keep those things kind of rolling, one right after the other.
But at the
so
same
TIF,
time, construction costs are going up, so.
Right, but you got to have a way to pay for it, and we only have X amount of capacity, so that's my only point here.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
we can bond some more in addition to the 40 million, but we can't bond enough to even get us that 60 million deficit gone at the end of the 5 years. We don't have that much capacity.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if past performance is a dictator of future results, then we're probably going to be fine, but.
That's my gut. telling
And,
me
yeah.
that.
And, so I'm trying to be somewhat reasonable there, but also, I understand what it looks like on paper.
Yeah, I mean, so it's useful to make sure that we evaluate a number of options, including splitting it up, taking that $9 million hit, seeing what cost efficiency could come in. I think our previous discussion kind of stays the same for this, but thank you for pointing out the potential shortfall on 29, starting on 29 and really hitting on 30. I understand the statement about past performance. I certainly do not want to repeat the past performance of segment 3. I think with our team now, we're going to significantly exceed the performance historically from segment 3.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, the next fund that we'll discuss today is the Stormwater Fund, and their budget is about 11.3 million, with spending divided into 13% for personnel, 41% for operating expenses, and a significant 46% dedicated to capital projects. The major capital projects include the Lower Water Lake, which is fully grant funded, the stormwater basins at Frank Brown Park, drainage improvements on Randy Road, Public Works retrofit project, which is shared by the streets and partially funded by a $600,000 HMPG grant. The improvements on Vestavia and Sensushi, which is supported by a $300,000 HMPG grant, and also emergency and community local fund projects. The division also supports key shared projects, resources, including the large vacuum truck that's shared with CRA that we just discussed, the 544 loader that was just shared by streets, and then a mini excavator as well as a truck. And also they also share in the Forenzo Park parking lot improvement as well as the Fuel Master upgrade. And the additional enhancements for stormwater include focusing on the stormwater master plan and prioritizing the capital improvements. The new share positions include a business manager, shared by street and CRA, and a stormwater maintenance worker, and all these are funded by the dedicated revenue sources. On the revenue side, the budget is funded primarily through stormwater fees at 56%, with grants providing 41%, and 3% is just making up other revenues, the remainder.
Okay. You take a breath. You got all the fun stuff. Welcome to the team. Yeah, you come in here, you're really getting a lot of these projects going, so we just love talking to you.
No problem.
So first of all, for the Low-Water Lake, that's a $3 million grant that our state legislature really helped us out on. So I know that, I feel like we've talked about that all the time, that's continuing to move forward.
Absolutely.
Can we, and people can look at previous council meetings for discussions of that. Frank Brown, Park Stormwater Basins, can you help us understand that?
Sure. So this, I think we're going to get a lot of bang for our buck on this one. So part of what we're currently doing is negotiating our MS4 permit, our upcoming MS4 permit. Part of what that is included in that is to do projects and specifically pollution, nutrient reduction projects. So with Frank Brown Park, that was a unique one in that there was already a design going on to split the park up into basins to analyze and to look at localized flooding within the park, but also look at expanding some of the stormwater so that the footprint of Frank Brown Park could increase, so we can put more amenities out Frank Brown Park. Right now, it's currently at its maximum capacity. So this is a unique opportunity in which we can look at reducing localized flooding, increase the potential for other amenities at Frank Brown, while also doing what stormwater needs, which is identifying and constructing nutrient reduction projects. So I think it's just a win all around.
Okay. I am so happy to see this Randy Road drainage improvement project. That road really needs drainage improvement. So help us understand that.
Absolutely. So this one's really, really close. It's probably, I think final comments, we're looking at hopefully putting it on the street here in September with construction starting hopefully around the November, December timeframe. That's our current expectation. This one took a little bit of a setback, and that was because we are trying to incorporate some of the runoff from Manistee to tie that in. So we expanded the outfall for that project to be able to handle the offsite runoff coming in from Manistee. So that's why that one's a little bit delayed, but we're hoping to have it on the street, if not by the end of the year, but the first part of next year.
Okay. And then Public Works retrofit.
That's the safe room, same one we talked.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, wow, you got a lot going on. The Vestavia and Sansucci improvements, that is sorely needed as well.
Right, and that's another HMGP grant. That one's also still stuck in review. So we're waiting for that, but the grant funding for that one will allow us to purchase the home, dig a pond, and then tie in localized swales and everything to help alleviate some of the localized flooding in the area.
Okay, and then you wrote up in the packet this emergency and community local fund. That's going to allow us to be more. Could you help us talk to?
Sure.
This is a really innovative project you're working on.
Yeah, this one I'm really excited about. So a lot of these projects you see are, $2-3 million. And it's the same thing with the CRA projects that, you have to go out to design. You have to, a lot of these projects take, years to see. With having a dedicated funding source to identifying local projects that are affecting residential streets, some commercial neighborhoods, where you have a spot issue that doesn't require a full drainage reconstruction, but also might just be a couple inlets, a pipe, new outfall, things like that. This would allow us to be really agile because we can do those designs in-house. We can do any and all permitting necessary in-house, and then a lot of these can be constructed in-house, but we're also going to try to get, something on the street so we can have local, smaller contractors potentially come in and do some of these projects. So I'm really excited about this program.
And so this is kind of a per neighborhood-esque fund, so that we don't have to wait for something to get as bad as a Randy Road or a Sansucci before
Correct.
addressing it, if there's an ability to make a kind of surgical strike to address some of these issues. Okay.
These would be smaller targeted projects that could come in and can be done right away to alleviate a need. And then also it has the ability to give us something, so if we have a sinkhole, if we have something that just blows up, that we have a funding source that we could go in there and fix it.
Great idea. Any questions, discussion from the council? No. I mean, this would be the last time you come up here. You want to talk about the CRA again?
I think I beat him up enough last time.
No, you're perfect. You're fine.
He can handle it. He can
Yeah,
handle
yes,
it.
sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Adair.
No problem.
Thank you, John.
Okay, no further comments. Before we go on to utilities, you guys want to take a little break? Because utilities, speaking of having a lot of stuff going on, utilities has a lot of stuff going on. So
Yeah, that's some.
yeah, it's going to be a mouthful. Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute. Oh, lunch is ready? Okay, you want to do 30 minutes for lunch?
Yes, sure.
Okay, 30 minutes for lunch. Be back at 11. She got her coffee.
Welcome back.
You want to? Let our city attorney come in.
What did you do to draw this?
All right. Woo! All right, we've got the heat on. Let's finish it up. We're returning to the meeting. We now move on to our wonderful utility fund.
Yes, sir. So this proposed budget for utility fund combined is approximately $124.4 million. The utility department, when I say combined, is it's the wastewater and water divisions. So we'll begin with going over and reviewing the water department. And the water department's proposed budget this year is approximately $55.2 million. And this budget allocates 63% to capital outlay, 28% to operating expenses, and 9% to personnel. It also includes several new positions: the administrative support specialist, GIS analyst, a meter services coordinator, underground utility workers, which they're requesting 3, underground utility crew leader, as well as an assistant underground utility superintendent. And all these positions are funded through this dedicated revenue source for utility fund. The key projects this year include water main relocations, Parkway water transmission main, McKelvey ground storage pump and tanks, State Road 79 to the west end pump station supply main, and the new utilities administration and supply building. And additional investments include the automated meter reading, water main replacements in Bitterwee subdivision, and the west end storage upgrades. The water department also shares in Forenzo Park parking lot improvement, as well as the Fuel Master upgrade.
Okay. Thank you. Mark? I guess we took, yeah, that's good. We took public comment for everything at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yeah.
would you like me to go ahead and go through wastewater? So
Yeah,
that we
let's
can come up
do it
and
all.
talk about
Yeah,
both of them at the same
it'll keep
time?
Mark from hopping up and down like we asked John to do.
See, we do learn.
Yeah, exactly. Continuous improvement up here.
Okay, for the wastewater division, their proposed budget is approximately $69.2 million, and this budget is also heavily focused on infrastructure investments, with 78% to capital outlay, 12% to operating expenditures, and 10% to personnel cost. You'll also, these new positions that we discussed in the water division, such as utility workers, crew leaders, and admin staff, are shared with wastewater. We just did not list them separate here. And the capital projects include wastewater treatment facility improvements, sewer main relocations, lift station upgrades, Laguna Beach Sewer Phase 1, the new utilities administration supply building, conservation park improvements, gravity sewer rehabilitation, and the wastewater's shared cost of the automated water reading and billing upgrade. And this department also shares in the Forenzo parking lot upgrade and improvement, as well as the Fuel Master upgrade.
And the unique part about this department is it does not just serve the municipal limits, but it serves the entire island.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a municipal service area that significantly exceeds our municipal limits, so it's going to be between the three bridges. Okay.
And before you bring him up, we'll just go ahead and touch on the revenues really, really quick.
Yep.
And then we'll have him come up. The utility fund revenues are estimated at $72.6 million this year, and 71% are charges for services, 12% is impact fees, approximately 12% from grants, and then 5% just from other miscellaneous fees and revenues.
Okay, so it's charges for services, that's the water rates, impact fees, substantial grant budget, and then other revenues.
Yes, that's what the utility fund does. They're an enterprise fund, so they work operate pretty much like a business, and they don't use tax dollars. They're funded all through the charges of fees and services.
Okay, yeah, so that's the big difference with, as an enterprise fund, they're essentially self-funded by services. Okay, all right, if we can go back to the water.
Just for the record, I just want to point out that Mr. Schaefer he goes big or he goes home with his project, so.
He goes big in a very small font size.
Yeah.
He fits it on a page, though.
I did the PowerPoint, not him.
Oh.
I know, but I lumped y'all. We didn't let him do the PowerPoint.
Oh, come on. You gotta build someone up before they come. You can afterwards for the banter. Before it's, Mr. Schaefer, we love your presentations. Love the detail. Love the detail. Let's keep it a little tight today, but.
I was about to say, I love his short presentation.
Okay. So, we have a lot in water main relocations. Can we just, well, let's talk about the new positions first. So help us understand the need for these new positions. I mean, we've had a lot of work that's clearly needed to be done in terms of water infrastructure here. There have been some challenges over the last year. Nothing due to the water department, but just working with the existing infrastructure, some of the as-builts. And so it looks like you're really staffing up in order to address those.
Yeah, the needs and the demands on our operating costs for our staffing is significant. A lot of the big drivers for us are new development. We're using our underground utilities personnel to get GIS information for our base maps, so we have more accurate information regarding the location of critical valves and so forth in our system. We're using them also now to augment our inspection on new development. So these large developments that we're getting now, we're utilizing them to go out and literally look at each service and each water meter box and make sure that we're getting exactly what we agreed to in the utilities permit that was issued for the work. And we have a lot of large-scale developments that are going on that are adding a lot to our system. So we want to give them a thorough look through.
Yeah, so two things. One, that the valve locates, that's something we've talked about extensively up here in the council. So you're addressing that direction. And then ensuring that we're not setting future councils and the future city up for some of the challenges we've had with some of these as-builts.
And also recall that the council directed you, with our second valve exercising machine, you wanted us to staff for that as well. So we're going to be doing that, that's reflected in these numbers as well.
Okay. And that second machine and the staffing, especially if we have a, heaven forbid, a break during the busy season, trying to get that one machine to the other side of the city or the municipal service area, it could be quite a challenge. So that's why we have the two. Okay.
It also bears mentioning while we're on the slide, the operating costs being 28% for the water utility. Council knows this, everybody knows this, except perhaps the new viewers. We purchase our water from Bay County. We spend about $10 million a year right now purchasing water, and that's included in those operating costs. So that's why they're not comparable to, you'll see the wastewater utility has a much lower operating cost and that's what does that. And then a lot of people may not know why we're relocating mains, and that's all associated with the roadway improvements that we're doing here in the city, not only the DOT, but also the CRA.
Yeah, yeah, so roadway projects really are underground projects, and then you put the icing on top. Sorry, John, but, okay. Let's talk, so we got the water main relocations, Parkway water transmission main, just briefly touch on that.
When we talk about the water main relocations?
We already talked about
Okay.
the relocations, Parkway transmission main.
Yeah, the Parkway transmission main is, recall we had a discussion about improving the ability to move water east and west across our system and augment supplies on the east end of our system because the county input to our system has a finite limit on that. And we have a much more robust input on the west end, and we can send water to the east as needed through this program. The line segments there were several of them planned, and they are all scheduled in sequential years. I've had to take a look at that because of the cost, and I'll explain later as we go into this a little further. But that is to develop a large diameter transmission line from State Road 79 and our West Bay pump station all the way east to the McKelvey pump station.
Okay,
And
so
it
we have a lot more water coming down 79 than we do under 98 on the Hathaway. And
That's
so,
correct.
you know, we're limited on that, so we want to get the water coming down from 79 to be able to go over it on the east end.
Mhm.
Okay, and so McKelvey's a part of this, right?
McKelvey it needs upgrades anyway.
Yeah.
The pumping station is quite old and it's an open style. So we'd like to at least replace the pump station there. That price includes additional ground storage tanks. Right now, we have a surplus in storage capacity, so we can delay that cost, the cost of the tanks a little bit if we need to. But the primary driver for McKelvey is a new actual pump station.
Okay, and so the tanks, when they go online, would allow us to supply water even if one of the mains has damage for a certain amount of time. So
Right.
it keeps us underwater or with water. All right. We've already briefly touched off 79 to, the 79 to West End supply main.
Currently, the way our system has grown, there's just a single input to the west end of our system. We lack looping and redundancy. So we actually need a high-pressure input, an additional high-pressure input into the west end. We're getting a lot of growth on the west end, and there's a lot planned. So that is a connection from the west end pump station on 79, right there by School Road, right by the elementary school, and it comes all the way around Conservation Park and ties in roughly around Kelly Street, is on on Front Beach Road.
Okay.
And that would give us a large diameter pressure input into that system. If there's a main failure on Front Beach, we'd be able to feed it through that connection that loops around.
Okay, so just making sure we have different ways to route the water in case we have a hit on one
Yep.
of these main.
And
Okay.
day to day, it's going to improve operating pressure out there on the west end.
Okay. New utilities and admin and support building.
Yes, that's the new operations building for both underground and our lift stations group. It's in the new, at the new site for the planned wastewater treatment facility in the Commerce Park. And that will house all the utilities group, lift station group. It's going to be hurricane rated. It'll provide refuge for our personnel to shelter there during the storm so they can redeploy quickly to reestablish utility service. So
Okay.
it'll all be a hurricane rated building.
So useful now and useful in the case of emergencies.
Right, and that will free up space on our existing facility there at North Gulf Boulevard for growth in the Public Works Group.
Okay.
Where are we looking at putting shovels in the ground on that?
I'm sorry?
When are we looking at putting shovels in the ground on that?
The design is done. It's been submitted for state review because part of it is there's a hazard mitigation grant component to it. We should be ready to advertise it here fourth quarter, third quarter of this year.
Okay, thank you.
The much discussed automated water meter reading.
That is the implementation of the automated automated water meter reading program. It is a new technology fairly new technology for remote reading people's water meters and getting the values from that.
Yeah, and we've discussed that several times. It'll allow absentee owners or folks to check when they're on vacation or something like that to make sure that they'll get a day by day almost.
Exactly. You'll know, you can get immediate information about how much water you use that day or whether you're getting a sudden increase in flow that would indicate a leak. all kinds of information would be made available for our customers.
Yeah.
Right now, for the people that are just tuning in, we manually go out and touch read each meter every month.
Yeah.
And
And
be a
it'll
much
also give us better historical data, because sometimes people get concerned, why did we get an increase in April? And we have a 2-month billing cycle, so, and we have a retention period that can be a little challenging for that.
Mark, will that track reclaimed water as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Same system, same water meter, it's just purple. The
Okay.
reclaim meter is purple.
Gotcha.
Okay, the Bidawee subdivision water main replacements?
Yeah, that is an effort to go ahead and get the utilities straightened out. They want to upgrade the existing water lines in that area. The north half of Bidawee has fire service. The south half has very limited fire service because it was developed back in the 1960s, I believe, and the water mains are small diameter, 2-inch galvanized pipe, and they need to be replaced with larger fire service rated mains.
Okay.
We're also going to be bidding adding reclaimed water to that same area as part of the program and bring the results to council so they can decide if they want to include that utility as well.
And this is the one that has been tried to be bid out a few times before?
Right. We're going to be subdividing it into smaller pieces and allowing for, if someone wants to give a discount for getting all the parts awarded to them, we'll have that in the bid form as well. And this is all a preamble to the roadway improvements of resurfacing the roads in that area.
Okay, so we're taking a different tack than what has not worked before on that project. Okay. And then the west end ground storage pump station and tanks.
That is an additional pump station. It's intended to be roughly, it's off Side Camp Road, roughly a mile down the road, and it would provide additional storage and pumping capacity to back up the West Bay pump station.
Okay.
The West Bay pump station plays a critical role in supplying our community.
Yep. Okay, great. We're going to move on to wastewater. Unless is there any comments or questions from the council on water?
I wanted to ask
Yeah.
Mark on the automated water meters. We're gonna phase that in and be over a couple of years before we get them all changed out?
Yes, there's an initial 6-month period that we're going to stand up 1,000 meters and run the system in parallel with our existing system, so we can make sure it's going to integrate well with what we're doing and we're comfortable with it. And then if we are, we're going to move forward with roughly doing the balance of our system in 2 years.
That's all, thank you.
All right, so dip our toe in the water, so to speak, and then go full steam ahead.
Right.
I got 2 water metaphors. All right, capital projects for wastewater. The wastewater treatment facility improvements for 19.
Yeah, the last expansion and improvement to our wastewater treatment facility was back in 2010. It's due for an update, a lot of rehabilitation, replacing some machinery in there as well. And as part of that program, we would be re-rating the facility to gain roughly 1 million gallons per day in capacity, maybe a little bit more. But the primary objective of that first effort is to upgrade or replace what we have and maintain it and then get a small bump. Right on the heels of that would be an expansion of our facility of at least 5 million gallons per day, either getting that capacity by expanding the existing facility, or I'll be coming to council with a cost to develop it at a new facility at the city purchased property there in a Commerce Park.
Okay, so that decision will come before the council, but we need
Yes.
the excess capacity ahead of all the growth, especially on the west end.
Right.
Okay, more sewer main relocations.
Again, that's associated with the CRA and FDOT. That also includes reclaimed water too.
Okay. So yeah, while DOT is adding these additional capacity on Back Beach, we share substantially in that burden by doing these relocates to get them out of the way.
And this last phase, it's going to go from Richard Jackson to the Hathaway Bridge. The primary utilities that are impacted are wastewater utilities, reclaimed and sewer.
Okay. Lift station upgrades.
That's, the DEP has provided a lot of emphasis right now against spill prevention, and one of those things that they're looking at is making sure we're upgrading, all utilities are upgrading and maintaining their facilities. This budget is for upgrading and replacing older lift stations that are at the end of their service life. There's probably 10 or so in the program.
Okay. And then Laguna Beach Sewer Phase 1?
That's the septic to sewer program. That community is currently on septic tank, and we got a grant to do part of the project, so that is the replacing of the system to be all on gravity sewer.
Okay, and so the state has mandated people get off of their septic tanks, and so this is our part of
Right.
making sure that they have sewer connectivity.
Right, and they've incentivized that with a grant.
Yep. Okay, same part of the new utilities and.
Yep, that's the wastewater share of the new utilities building.
All right, conservation park improvements.
The boardwalks are in need of replacement, so there's redoing a lot of the elevated boardwalks and redoing a lot of the trails out there. It's been a while since we've done a trail maintenance program. We need to get that restarted.
Yeah, and folks who haven't been here or aren't aware, Conservation Park is really a water treatment park.
Yes, is receiving wetland, yes, sir.
Yeah, and then it's been dual purpose for a public park, but it's not wastewater treatment, it's just the.
It serves as a use of our reclaimed water when our
Reclaimed, yep.
customers don't need it on days like today when it's been raining a lot. The wetlands are not too sensitive about when they receive the water, just that they get it. So it's a win-win. We have a backup system for when there's a surplus of reclaimed water.
Yeah, so it's for reclaimed water, okay. And we also want to make sure the public can use that park as well. So that's why it's here and not in Parks and Rec. Gravity sewer rehabilitation.
Yes, some of our older sewer systems are clay pipe. We have an ongoing program where we televise them and make repairs to them. We line them with a liner system similar to what John described for what they do on stormwater.
Okay, and we talked about automated water meter reading. Did I see in your capital improvement schedule also the, was it the headworks for the odor control unit?
Yes, the odor control's in there as a separate line item.
Okay, yeah, and that, we have a very effective odor control unit, but one of the units is undersized.
Yes.
And so it's right-sizing that one unit so that it's not bearing the brunt. It's one of the first units as well.
It was the first unit, yes.
Yeah, is one of the first units, and everyone, I assume on this council can tell when that unit is undergoing maintenance, because you either smell it on 79 or on 98, or you hear from it from Open Sands. And so that's an essential quality of life improvement. I'm really looking forward to that.
I don't want to say anything about the odor control of the main facility because I don't want to jinx it. But
included in the packet that the public has access to and we have up here was the Underground Utilities Future Workforce Optimization and Planning Proposal. All I wanted to say about that is I thought that was extremely well presented. Very useful for us to understand the new organization chart, the previous organization chart, and how things are going to move forward with some of the things that council has asked from your department. So,
Yep.
yeah, great presentation on that.
Yeah, our business unit manager put that together. I have to give Ms. Bailey credit for that. She did a wonderful job.
Okay. Any?
Yes, Mayor. Mark, glad to see us finally getting some sewer in Laguna Beach. Been a long time coming, but weren't we going to try to put some sewer down on Grand Lagoon? Mary, I know she's on that estuary committee, and I know some folks that are on it and do sampling out there, and that's one of the biggest issues after a rainfall is fecal coliform in the lagoon there. Are we got any plans or any grants to try to get some sewer on either side, north or south side of that lagoon?
I've tried every fiscal year to get additional grant money.
Okay.
It's the sewering of that area has already been designed. It's programmed out for a 7-phase project. We've already purchased the majority of the sites for the lift stations out there.
Good.
But the key to it is getting grant funding, because
Right.
basically you're asking existing users to pay for that if we don't get grant funding.
Right.
And there's a fairness question there.
Okay. As long as we're working towards it.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get it.
the county is actually offered to help us put together an application for the next phase of that.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the council? Thank you, Councilman Casso. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
I do want to add.
Okay, go ahead.
The timing is somewhat fortuitous. We've got a impact fee and a rate study analysis that's getting wrapped up right now. And I got the preliminary results back from them on the rate increases that would be required, so I've had to kind of look at some of the capital programs and the timing, and so I've done that, and so I will report back to you with the new numbers in terms of what the projected values are.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the Pier Fund. Did you guys have something for that? Okay.
Yes, sir. The PIER's projected or proposed budget this year is 1.65 million approximately, with 45% going to personnel, 32% to operating expenses, and another 22% to capital needs, including a handrail replacements, a lightning rod, and also they participate in the Fuel Master upgrade. On the revenue side, I think it's important to note that this fund's not so really supported by tax dollars. It's almost entirely on user fees, with 73% for revenue from emissions and 24% coming from for rent.
Okay, yeah. All right, and we have a few program enhancements on this one.
Yes. The handrails, you may have seen some pictures in there in your packet, and that last rebuild of the pier was 2009. The county is actively replacing theirs as well. It's just age of the materials out there. They're doing theirs in smaller sections. I would prefer, if approved, to just go out for the whole project, and it would obviously be done in sections, but definitely needed. We do, I know I gave you the number recently, that short period of time was about 130,000. Throughout the year, we're close to 400,000 people that go out on the pier.
Wow. Yeah, it's a
Gets
great
a lot
attraction.
of use.
Well, yeah, great attraction.
The lightning rod is something that Jeremiah has been working on. It will not get done until, or be looked at heavily until the handrails are done, because the wiring will actually have to go underneath. I wish he was here to speak to it, but Webb might be able to if you have more questions on it. But we experience a lot of lightning at the pier. We lose a lot of equipment frequently, have a lot of damage that IT wonderfully steps in and helps us get through, so we can keep the revenue going when when we get hit. So very important.
Yeah, just out there in the water.
Have we looked at the handrail material? Have we looked at different stuff that might last longer, be more resilient?
The Trex is what I was considering. I'm not even sure what's on the top right now, Paul. You might.
It's pressure treated.
It's a plastic type material, because it's actually like a fiberglass type stuff is coming through, where it's real itchy on your arms. So the Trex has been really successful on.
I think we had pressure treated. Maybe we did switch to the top.
The top rail is
some
different.
form of Trex. Is that right, Holly?
I think so. I don't know if it's a Trex, but it is something.
Holly, if you could
synthetic.
put on your mic.
Sorry, some kind of synthetic material. I don't know that it's Trex, but.
The material before Trex became as durable as it is, I believe.
Sure. I just want to make sure if we're going to change it out, we need to change it out to something that's, we're going to get the most bang for our buck on.
It's been holding up well on our beach accesses. It's done well, so.
Okay. How's that restaurant coming?
There's still walls up. They're waiting on FPL. We did get the small transformer placed to separate out the power, and I'm just being told they're waiting on it to go hot. And then once they do that and get us hooked up separately, the rest of the demo will finish. And as fast as they did what they could, I feel good about their contractor and how fast it'll move.
Okay.
Any complaints on the Trex they use down there in front of the pier on the heat? Because I know some of that Trex can get really hot, and there's a lot of kids going barefoot to the beach. But I think they use a product that I hadn't heard anybody getting.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't. Trex is just one of the brand names, but I think the color, the lighter color was helpful. So no, really, haven't had too many complaints on the heat.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you anticipate, we haven't talked about the revenue yet, yeah, actually, we did. Any anticipation of drop in pier admissions because we don't have that restaurant out there, people waiting for it?
You know, the tackle shop is also not having that, has, some people do leave because, you know, they don't have a spot to get it there. So when it comes back online, I feel very confident it's gonna grow, but it has hurt. It has hurt us.
Yeah. Okay. All right, further questions or discussion from the council on this? Nope.
No, looking forward to when it's done. It'll be
Yeah.
bigger and
really
better.
nice, Really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Joyner. And we do have, whenever we see these 5-year forecasts, we want to highlight them. So we do have some, actually, can Joey or Deborah talk us through this 5-year forecast for the pier?
So we have a pretty relatively conservative assumption for the rent at the new restaurant, but I think it'll possibly come in higher than that, so this might not be as alarming as it looks on paper, but we'll track it and see.
Okay. So we anticipate, or we're hoping, especially given the new restaurant's rent, because, and the possibility for the new restaurant rent to go up is because there's a profit share there? Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And the decent amount of the pier revenue gets transferred out. Help me understand that.
There's about $1 million transfer per year, while the pier can afford it, over to the Aquatic Center to support their operations.
Okay, so the pier's helping pay for their aquatic center. Okay. All right. That's it on the pier.
Okay, so this year, the Aquatics Center's budget total is just under $1.6 million. Of that, 53% is allocated to personnel, 43% to operations, and just 4% is to capital outlay. Their planned enhancements include a new pool slide, and also the annual heater replacement for the pool. And on the revenue side, 35% of the revenue comes from user admissions, where 65% is supported by the interfund transfers that we were just speaking about.
Okay, so that's where that 65% of the
Yes.
budget for the aquatic center comes in dominantly from the pier.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what, Mr. Joyner, if you want to talk through this. This is a fun-looking slide.
Yeah, you know, we talked last year, we looked at a rock wall, and wanted us to look at some different options, and the more we have looked at, we would like to get a small slide back in the activity pool. That end of the pool is used primarily for swim lessons right now, but this would be, you know, would not hinder that at all. It also would not rise to the level of an amusement like our previous slide did, so it wouldn't need state inspections. And, you know, probably, I would say 10 to 15 people would probably be in line at a time for that slide, which doesn't sound like a good thing, but that takes 10 or 15 kids out of the water, you know, at any given time, and does help. Right now, like, again, I think it's an underused area of the pool that we would like to increase.
And so by keeping it below that 10 feet, it's not an amusement which
Right.
has additional regulations on
Right,
there. Okay.
or cost.
And then we replace the pool heater per year?
Well, so this last year, actually right now, we just got another one in that is sitting in our maintenance facility that we will be ready to drop in if one goes out. So we may not use that this year if things go well. We are also really focusing on twice a year, making sure we do maintenance on our well, because we have discovered that some of our heater issues, we think, is coming from sediment and different things from the well that could have been causing some of our issues. So we're working on ways to improve that.
Okay. And then the revenue, of that 35%, a lot of it comes from the daily fees, and then it's 180,000, about 50,000 for the membership passes, 65 for the swim lessons, and then swim team fees. That's getting renegotiated this year, is that
Yes,
accurate?
they have asked for one more year of not increasing, and I haven't had a chance to speak with Drew and Holly about that yet, but they are nearing the end of that agreement. I think it's September 30th. So that will be something we need to discuss if we do another long-term with stepped increases. But they have asked for some help to keep it flat one more year.
Okay.
We're also, staff, we have a new aquatic manager. Well, she's not too new. She actually was there when the pool first started. And she's been working on some different ideas and different revenue streams. And we've currently been working with Michael in grants, and we're seeking $100,000 for swim lessons, which would help pay for staffing and supplies. And working with the district, hoping that we can get all fourth graders and all the beach schools to come to our program. Which would be really important for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, so the swim team is asked, I think they are at the end of their agreement, right?
I believe September 30th.
Yeah, and so they've asked to keep it flat for one more year?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't talked to him
Okay,
I think.
okay. And that agreement, should it be reached, would come before us, or is that?
yet. Normally, I bring it back before the council.
Yeah,
I haven't talked to the new, I think they're changing it to Cat 5, and I haven't talked to anyone from swim team yet to see what they wanted. But
Okay.
most likely I'd bring back a new proposal for increases, but I haven't looked at it yet.
okay. And, because they're a pretty heavy user of that pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of kids and a lot of seniors, and it's a lot of locals use it. It's well used. It's taken them years for people to discover it, but it's full most of the time.
Okay. All right.
One
Yeah.
quick thing.
Yes.
Do we want to get together and look at fees again for all, pool, pier, all that? When's the last time we did that?
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last, yeah, we did it, last year.
Yeah, we didn't change anything then.
I think it's maybe useful exploring some of these other funding opportunities. Do you have a sense of when those will shake out?
I would assume we'd hear on that grant within the next month.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'd like to at least discuss in the future some type of membership program that might work for that aquatic center.
Yeah, because they're at that $50,000 level right now. So it's about, where was it? Membership passes account for about a third, or less than a third of the daily fees.
Yeah, and I'd like to, if we can look at how that's structured and come up with some better ideas of how to offer that to residents, maybe we can increase that revenue. So.
Yeah, because it's not taxpayer, it's a use fee, which is one of the most efficient forms of financing.
And I've said in the past, a annual membership overall will not adversely affect your operating costs. It will for chlorine and stuff like that and whatever, but as far as personnel, whether you have 5 people in the pool or 50 people in the pool, you're still going to be operating that pool.
Okay.
So if we can make that membership much more enticable, then that might help us drive a little more revenue to the aquatic center on its own.
I think it's worth looking at. You want to maybe discuss that as a council comment or some other points?
Yeah, I mean, that's,
for
I'm
timing
just,
on that?
I'm bringing it up because,
Yeah.
we're talking about revenue streamed on the aquatic center, so just for, council in the future, we need to I would like to look at that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We'll kind of punt on the timing on that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got plenty of off-season to.
Yeah, we
look at.
got a nice off-season. Any further comment from Ms. Joyner? Okay, that's it. And then we also have the 5-year financial forecast. Can we go over that?
Yes, sir. I will. As you can see in 2026, there is $1 million transferred from the Pier Fund. And then if you go further into 27, by the end of 27, even with $1 million transferred into the Pier Fund, the pier is running in a deficit. So at some point, but at the same time, we are hoping that by the time the new restaurant gets built, we'll have extra revenues coming in from the pier or for the pier, which will also help with the aquatic center. But as is, just being conservative on the rent and board, you can see by 2030, I mean, we're at negative 1.7 million.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So we start, so assuming for fiscal year 26 and 27, we keep the $1 million transfer. In fiscal year 27, we start running a deficit, even with the $1 million transfer. And then in fiscal year 28, help me understand, the transfer from pier drops by 350.
We don't have the money on.
because we don't have the money on the other side, on pier side, to give them another $1 million.
Okay.
So that's where that comes in.
What's the gap on the pier side? Maybe I
Back
missed.
to their 5-year plan, you can see.
Capital improvements?
Oh, it's a capital?
No, actually, it's only 50.
We were transferring over some of their reserves, and that's the point that.
Oh, we're transferring reserves right
Yes,
now.
we
Yes, we
need all
saw.
their reserves.
So we've gone through all the at that point, we'll have gone through all the reserves from the pier.
With this
Except the
conservative.
R&R.
Yes, we did keep a $625,000 repairs and maintenance reserve at the pier, and then transferring everything else.
Mayor, after we finish these improvements at the pier, Cheryl said we had 400,000 visitors that walked out on there, and it's $4 a head. You raise it $1, that's an additional $400,000. That 90% of them are tourists that are using it. So I think we have the nicest pier that I've been on, and I've been on most of them in Florida. So I think Michael mentioned looking at the fees. I think that's an area where you could pick up another $500,000, and nobody would bat an eye. Not if they're going to pay $4, they'd pay $5 to walk out of the pier.
Okay, why don't we, I think it's good to look at that holistically, the full
Right.
funding source. Did you, since we just did the fees last year, did you want to do it as part of next budget year, or did you want to do it in advance of next
Well, I know
budget year?
for me, if we're going to adjust fees,
Yeah.
I think probably the best time is after the construction is over on the pier. Because then you're going to have a big draw.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll say after the construction's over at the pier, you want to look at.
Or when it's in sight. you
Or
know.
when it's in,
Yeah.
once we have, so we'll put an estimate for discussing fees, once we have a good estimate on the construction of the pier, and then what we can do is we can look at these two combined funds holistically. We'll look at the funding for the aquatic center or the fees for the aquatic center and the pier at that point.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest, because if, adjusting your numbers now with the construction that's going on might be more of a deterrent than an incentive, so.
Yeah, but Councilman, I do think, I take your point that adjustment from a $4 to $5, I don't know if anyone would, any of the visitors anyway would notice that.
And we do have a little bit of time to wait for that construction to be done.
Yeah, okay, so as the construction gets in sight, let's put on the schedule looking at holistically the fees for the aquatic center and the pier.
If everyone agrees.
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so the very last department we have is the IT department, and they are an internal service fund, which means that they're funded by the charges that they charge other departments for their services. And this year's, the IT's budget proposed budget is just under 2.9 million. There's 48% allocated to operating expenditures, 32% to personnel, and 20% to capital outlay. And some of the key investments this year include the Fuel Master upgrade. The IT department, Fuel Master upgrade is in the IT department, and it's pushed out to all the other departments. So all those other shares you saw comes back into this IT department. The other investment is the upgraded backup services. And then we're continuing on with our transition into the ERP system. This $95,000 in the ERP system for budget for next year is not the entire amount. The software is budgeted in this current year,
Can we
and this
negotiate it
$95,000
with
is
the entire amount?
implementation. We wish it was that.
Yeah.
And then also, they have investment for the city fiber infrastructure project as well.
Okay. Webb, finally.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, so we're excited. We got the ERP project coming up. That is in the process right now. Obviously, we have the contract in place, and we're about to start kicking that off. We'll start off with the timekeeping and the HR side, then we'll roll straight into the finance side. We all know that that's a much anticipated project, and we're really, really excited about starting that project. That will go for about 10 months. So that will be kicked off here in the next couple of months. As soon as their project teams are ready, our project teams are ready to go.
Okay, and the ERP system, just for folks,
Yes.
is a way of connecting the different departments together into centralized infrastructure so they can communicate, have better finance connectivity. All right, get more efficiency using computer technology.
Yeah, thank you. IT is an acronym in itself, so
Yep.
sometimes we speak too much in that. You're absolutely right, correct, Mayor. Absolutely correct, Mayor. We're going to improve our financial system to help our folks over here who work so hard through this budget, help them through that process, but it will also tie everything in from revenues and other programs to make everything more transparent and more efficient as we do our work process.
Yeah, and also help the city make more data-driven decision, continue to enhance its data-driven decision-making.
Yes.
And the city fiber project, you can just touch on that?
We're excited about that. We're working with the county. Our first major connections will happen here over the next couple of months. We've got a number of new facilities coming online. We've got Fire Station 32. We've got the old Fire Station 32, and we also have our new finance building down there with utility billing that we will be connecting via this project. And then from there, we'll be stretching out to some of our other facilities such as Frank Brown Park and our other utility buildings and whatnot. The benefits of this project are immense. It's going to basically unify our network and make it much more secure just by being on our own network. And it will speed things up. It's going to save a lot of money over the long run and provide some redundancy through a fiber loop through our partners over at Bay County. By leveraging their existing infrastructure, we're getting a great value for this project, and we're really excited about that. So I think it's smart partnership, smart government, and we're excited to be able to do that.
Okay, and so this is a city fiber infrastructure for the municipal services, not for the residents. It's for city and for IT. Yeah,
that's correct.
All right, yeah, very excited about that project. Should provide a lot of benefits. Good investment to do now.
And Webb, the city fiber project, that's going to be pretty much lack of proper terminology, but a closed loop system with limited access points.
Okay.
So as far as any type of attacks on the city and things like that, that will be greatly reduced. I know in the future, I'd like to see that fiber ran down Front Beach Road. So we've got conduit for it.
Have you seen what happens when those fiber providers roll through?
Oh, it's already in, but the conduit will already be in the ground.
Yeah, good. All right. Any further discussion from the council? Okay.
Thank you all so
Thank
much.
you. Any wrap up from our wonderful finance team?
Just as we close, I just want to thank y'all for all your continued leadership and support to the staff and to the city. And also, we welcome any questions, any feedback, and any direction as we continue to wrap the final budget up. And just thank you very much.
Yep, we covered a lot up here today, literally every city service, important projects. I really appreciate the council moving forward in a solutions-oriented manner, and especially thank the staff for their hard work. I know this was a tight budget year for everyone. We're working on how to address more stable revenues going forward, but as it is this year, taking a pause on some of these headcount increases particularly. You know, I know that's a challenge. I know our folks work really hard. But thanks for the sacrifice on this. We are working to do what we can up here to keep the city financially stable and thriving. And that's through your tremendous leadership, Mr. Whitman and Ms. White's tremendous leadership, and also with wonderful support from our finance team. This is a great presentation, very clear. Thanks for everyone who participated.
Hold on, one thing. Hey, I was waiting till the end to go back. With some of the changes that we made, I was wondering if the council would consider adding an additional 4 flock cameras to the police budget for a grand total of $16,000. Well, grand total between the additional flock
32,
cameras
right?
would be 32 altogether.
Chief, the vice mayor is offering you more stuff.
You know, any addition to our current network would be a valuable asset, and I appreciate the offer, and I will accept, but obviously, up to you guys. You know, we have a lot of holes in our current infrastructure just by our cut roads, side roads, subdivisions. This is just going to help improve to plug in those specific dark spots.
Yeah, I mean, now obviously public safety is important. We've also asked all the departments to sacrifice, but I think for that $16,000 point, Chief, if you think you can, it's going to be good bang for the buck on that one.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, these license plate readers are a component of almost every single investigation that we work, and a very big component. They have been, you know, they're a game changer in law enforcement. They're extremely valuable.
Yeah, and I think the timing on the vice mayor's statement here is especially important as we are seeing some of the public safety challenges we've just seen here recently before this budget proposal was put in. So I think that adjustment does make sense. Councilman Castro?
I think it's a great idea if you can put them to use.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
And that includes all the fees to Flock as well as the camera.
That's correct. It's just one flat rate. They cover the storage, they cover the setup, the takedown, the deployment. It is just literally it's one fee per camera per year. So that's all we pay.
And then that would just be an ongoing cost each year.
That's
going
correct.
Forward. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, well, the budget already came to us fairly.
Do we want to do that?
Fairly trim.
Okay.
We did trim it a little bit. So, yep.
So no more coffee cups, Chief. No more golf balls.
Really, Chief, what we're asking you to do is impound some flock cameras from some of the drug dealers. Okay, so do you want a motion for that, or?
We can make that change, bring it back, because it has to come back to you in the form of a resolution anyway.
Okay. All right. Any further adjustments to the budget from the council? Okay, great suggestion. Thank you all.